What's up, everybody? My name's Joe. I'm the Kentucky Atheist, and today the video is. Let me fix this real quick. I didn't. I messed up my thing a little bit here. Let's get this over here. We'll stay in a circle, I guess. That's okay. But let's do this. All right. All right. Let's start over. Hey, everybody. My name's Joe. I'm the Kentucky Atheist. Today we're going to have a little bit of fun. The title of this video is a little bit clickbaity. I was saying, hey, uh, what can make me lose my atheism, which is a weird thing to say to begin with. But what I've got for us today to look at is a video from a channel called Brainex. It's linked in the description, and uh, go over and check that guy out and subscribe or whatever. He's got some good stuff, or they have some good stuff. I don't know if it's he, sorry, but they've got some good stuff on their channel. And today is 49 strange religions that actually exist in the U.S. The XP's Let's Farm, it gives people points for interacting, whether it's talking or you send super chats or whatever you do. It gives you points for it, and then it gives a ranking 1, 2, and 3 in the chat of who's interacting the most. And later on, I'm going to do some special stuff for that. I just haven't figured out how to incorporate it yet. There is a super chat goal set up in the chat there, and I set it at 10 super chats of $5 or more. And if we do that, I'll make a prison cooking video next week. I'll make what we call a break or something. Maybe even do some prison crafts and show you guys some of the stuff that we made and how we did it and all that stuff in there. But just an extra fun video, something I can offer. And it's interactive with the goals and all that stuff. Just something to put in there. Of course I love it when people support the channel and stuff, but I don't, I'm not like I'm not begging you for money or anything. It's just a fun idea, I think. But anyway, so this video is 49 religions that actually exist in the U.S., and it's like weird religions and stuff, and things that you don't know are religions. It's supposed to be surprising. I have not watched the video. I watched the intro to it, and I paused it because I wanted to do it here so we could do it, live for everybody. What do we got here? What's going on? Are people already wanting to see the prison cooking video? Interesting goal subject. Yeah, thanks, Regios, and good to see you, Regios. Thank you for the $5 super chat. I truly appreciate it. You know that I do. And let's say hi to everybody. What's up, Let's Farm, and Claire, and Regios, and my bot is here. Hi, bot. B.S. Lewis, if Joe gives up atheism, he should become a Scientologist. That would be wild. Yeah, I could be a wicked Scientologist. I think the locals would hate me just as much as if I was a Scientologist as an atheist, though. Or even if I would probably be more hated if I was a Catholic than an atheist. But anyway, we're going to have fun with this. And so I haven't put like a link for anybody to join in the description. But if you want to join and talk about these weird religions with me, you're welcome to. I'll give you a link and we can do it. I can't put the link in the chat just all willy-nilly anymore because weird people come in and do odd things and stuff. What's up, Tori? Thanks for coming. Yeah, so the kind of funny part about the video I'm doing today is that I say, what if I lose my atheism, which is a weird sentence in itself, but the fun part about it is I'm an atheist, and being an atheist, to me anyway, how I define that is that there are claims that a god or some supernatural creator exists, and up until this point I am not convinced that that's true. Gosh, we lost a lot of people already. Interesting. I wonder why it did that. I guess they heard that I wasn't really converting to being a Christian and they left. But so I wanted to just have a fun video, and like I said, anybody's welcome to join me on this if you want, and just let me know in the chat or something, and you can hop in and have some fun with it too. Dave may stop by. I talked to him a minute ago. He's waiting on Bree to wrap up, and he may come by and do it. I think Durante is doing his 50,000 stream. I was over there a little bit ago and checking that out. So there might not be very many people that show up, and that's okay. I put out a video yesterday, and it got a whole 35 views. So, but the that's how that goes, though. It may get 35 views, and next weekend get 10,000. You don't know. But I don't care. I'm having fun doing it and stuff, and I decided some time ago that I was gonna do this the way that I want to do it, and do what I want and not really care about the numbers and stuff. I quit looking at my analytics. I had to switch to having fun. So many stressful things and stuff happened that I couldn't continue to do it that way. I was getting burnout and stuff. And I mean, I know I'm always honest and sincere with everybody, but just the way I was doing things just wasn't working for me. So I'll talk about what I want now. If I want to talk about politics, I'll do it. If you don't want to see that, leave. If you know, if people want to support the channel and be here, those are the people that I want here. Um, but everybody's always welcome, and I'm happy to see everybody here. It looks like we got Let's Farm in first place, Tori in second place, and BS Lewis in third place. All right, guys, keep on chatting and stuff, and we'll have to figure out something to do with that to give somebody some kind of prize or something for those things. Like not every time, but maybe do some kind of, I don't know. I'm always trying to think of special ways to interact with you guys and stuff, and to have fun. But anyway, I guess without further ado, gosh, down to four. We went up to 12 and down to 4. Wow. People are really not interested in what I have to say. Oh man. I think it was the clickbaity title probably, but if I'm burned out on politics for the moment, I just skip the vid. Yeah, and I'm cool with that. Here's the thing. I love to. Of course, I get excited whenever I see that a video's doing well or people are coming watching and stuff. I love that. I love to see an audience here and you guys talking in chat and having fun, even if it's not about what I'm going on about. I love to see you guys here and doing it. But at the same time, I get it. Sometimes what I have to say isn't interesting to some people, or you're burnout on politics, or you don't want to hear, me debating creationists on all that stuff. And that's why I try to do a bunch of different things. I haven't delegated myself to just one thing where I just debate people or I just make response videos or whatever. And while today is kind of a response video, it's one having fun doing it. It's not we're not shitting on anybody or anything like that. This should be entertaining. Like I said, I haven't watched the video, but let's go ahead and start it.
Somewhere in America, there's a man meditating in a kiddie pool to become one with a jellyfish. Another one's preaching the...
And one more time before we get too far into it, I did link this channel in the title, but also if you go down to the description, there's a link to the channel. Go over there and check it out. It's got a lot of cool stuff on there. If I'm kind of quiet, it's only because I'm trying to switch gears between jobs. That's all. Nothing. Oh no. And don't misunderstand me, guys. I'm not taking a shot and saying people need to watch this and be here and all that stuff. I'm not doing that at all. I I get it. I support a lot of great people in this community, but there's a lot of times I'm just either not interested or for some reason I can't sit down and watch their videos, and that's just that's just how it is. I mean, like and I get it. Nothing personal. Yeah, you're all good. Don't feel like I'm putting anyone on the spot or anything like that. Like whenever I see the numbers on my channel not doing how they usually do, or I see I see my memberships drop off or whatever. Like I get discouraged and I may say something about it or whatever, but it's never directed at any person. Okay. Like I just like to, those are things that make me feel like either I'm doing well or I'm not. Like, I'm not the best at promoting that kind of stuff and everything. I mentioned, hey, join. I've got memberships. They start at 99 cents and all that stuff, but it's not necessarily my strong area. So I watch other channels that put content just responding to silly stuff and you know not anything any better than what I'm doing is what I'm trying to say. And in the chat, you see people like gifting 100 memberships in a single episode. And so like sometimes I feel like, well, why can't I do that? But it's never directed at anybody. It's just me trying to figure out how to do this whole thing. Like I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. I'm just some dude from Kentucky, and when I bring up these things, it's not that I care. I really don't care. It's just like whenever I see differences between my channel and another channel, I'm like, well, what do I need to do to get people more engaged and more interested in the same, in the stuff that I'm doing? And that's all. Like I don't. It's not personal. All right, I'll play the video now, guys. Sorry. All right, let's go.
Or of Google Maps. And someone just baptized a donut. This isn't fiction. It's faith. Raw, unfiltered, deeply weird belief systems that exist right now, probably within a few exits of your house. You think you've seen it all? Nah. You haven't seen the church that worships karaoke night. 1. The Order of the Infinite Llama might sound like a rejected Pixar sequel, but it's very real. Well, real enough for those who worship it. These llama-loving devotees believe the majestic creature embodies patience, oddball charm, and transcendental goofiness. Their spiritual compass? A sacred text called the Lama Sutra. No.
The Lama Sutra. So there's actually a group of people that worship llamas. You know that's pretty wild. The Lama Sutra. I like the name though, and I have to think that like some of these are kind of like a joke, just to call things a religion or whatever. Like John Oliver did a show where they set up a church and had people like promote it and donate and all that crap. Just to show that you could do it and was recognized as a religion and stuff. So yeah, some weird stuff coming up. I haven't watched this. It sucks because there's so many content creators that are fake as fuck, but people buy their BS and get viewers over it. Yeah, I agree with you there. I won't get into any details, but yeah, I agree with you.
Not that kind of sutra, though you'd be forgiven for assuming otherwise. Members gather for laminations, a type of ritual that includes storytelling, meditation, and sometimes llama-shaped cookies. It's lighthearted, a little absurd, and probably more peaceful than most online forums. And hey, if you're going to follow a deity, why not one that hums, spits occasionally, and looks like a walking throw blanket? 2. If the history...
Now, see, I might be interested in worshiping the llama. It comes with llama cookies. Like I could get down with that. They seem peaceful. They just want to read their Lama Sutra, and yeah, I think it's weird that they named it the Lama Sutra. Do you think there's like a sexual thing with the llamas or something? Like, it's kind of weird. Content creators that create for nothing more than likes and views are just conning people. Yeah. So look, you can do this as a business and be interested in making money or gaining fame or whatever it is. You can do that, and that's on you. It's when you misrepresent why you're doing it. Like when you come and you pretend that you love the community and you want all these other things, but really The only thing you're concerned with is numbers. And it's, like, I get it. People have all different perspectives, and even people I don't agree with and don't care for their channels and all this. I mean, they're still helping us come together in live streams in the chat and talk, and to be like, they're still helping in a way. Like, just because I can't support their channel doesn't mean that I dislike them personally or anything like that. I'm a little bit more of a prick about that than most people, like, but it's my personal views, and I don't care to share those here with everybody. I usually do, but yeah, there's always going to be people that are out just to try and gain something for themselves, and like, guys, I stepped away for a while and stuff, and I've like, I deal with depression a lot and stuff, and here lately, like, I just, and sorry to be such a Debbie Downer here, but like, sometimes I can't stand myself, and so making videos is not something that I'm like amped up to do. So I step away and I come back, and like, I try to. I don't want to come here and just make a video to be making videos, to keep going. Like, even though that's really the consistency is a big part of the YouTube algorithm and shit. Like, when I'm sitting here and feel like I can't stand to be around myself, like, I don't want to be on camera and make a video and be all happy and pretend it's something else. Um, I will always try to be my genuine self with you guys. I, one of the things that I value a lot is honesty, and um, I, uh, I, I don't, like, I try to be as honest and transparent and genuine and everything that I can, because my perspective as somebody from Eastern Kentucky who's an atheist is unique in that way. But if I'm not giving you what that's truly like, what I truly feel and think and see, and doing it to for that reason of activism and to show everybody, then what good is it? Like, if I'm not being myself, then what good is any of this? Why do it? But that's yeah. All right. Sorry. Again, I keep going on about all this other stuff, and sorry, guys. But let's go on.
Channel and your conspiracy-loving uncle had a baby, it'd be the Nuwaubian Nation. This group blends Egyptian iconography, UFO abduction lore, numerology, and enough sci-fi fanfiction to power a Netflix series. They genuinely believe that modern humans were genetically engineered by aliens, a sort of cosmic Build-A-Bear situation, and that the Illuminati is involved, obviously. Their former compound in Georgia.
So this kind of thing is, I didn't know anybody referred to it as a religion, but I'm sure we've all heard the conversations about how this is kind of a racist thing, and so they got to say aliens came and did it, and that's the only way that people could have done the stuff they did, and because those primitive brown people couldn't have stacked rocks on top of each other in the shape of a pyramid. But yeah, so I don't really care for this one. I won't be dropping my atheism for this one.
Pyramids, and a giant sphinx, because subtlety is overrated. Forget Darwin or divine creation, according to Nuwaubians, were alien test tube projects with a dash of hieroglyphs. Somehow it makes your weird cousin's astrology obsession seem almost reasonable.
So there's actually a whole list of someone shared it with me today, a whole list of dozens and dozens of religions related to UFOs and that kind of thing. Um, it's it's I guess it's possible. You can't say that we weren't just some genetic, like, experiment of aliens, but when you have nothing to support that, it's the same as claiming other gods and whatever. It's just making shit up and saying it's true. That won't be dropping my atheism for that.
3. The Church of the Wandering Gnome believes that gnomes aren't just lawn decor. They're miniature gods of hearth and home. Members carry tiny gnome statues for protection, luck, and, presumably, fashion risk. Their services are more garden party than mass. Think storytelling circles, bonfires, and the occasional gnome hat contest. It's cozy, bizarre, and one part cult, one part cottagecore fever dream. Honestly, if your deity can also double as a cute garden accessory, you're probably doing religion, right? And if nothing else, you'll always have the most magical-looking flower bed on the block.
So we know that there's like schools you can go to learn about gnomes, and there's all kinds of people that are super into gnomes. Again, I don't really know how it fits as a religion necessarily in that case, but seems kind of more like superstition and obsession. But whatever. I have a feeling these are going to get crazier. I haven't watched this.
4. The Church of Broden is where Norse mythology meets Jim Bro energy. They've swapped Odin's wisdom for biceps and thunderous bench presses. Members worship Broden, the swole god of gains, through protein-rich sacrifices and ceremonial deadlifts. Their scripture? Gym memes and pre-workout labels. Their Sabbath? Leg day. This parody religion is half serious, half satirical, and 100% creatine infused. It's what happens when your workout playlist is just Viking chants and motivational TikToks. And no, missing leg day is considered heresy. Praise be to the pump.
So, so I take a little bit of issue with some of these Norse things. When I was locked up, the symbol of Thor's hammer, like you couldn't, like, if you had a tattoo of Thor's hammer, you better have done the work to get it. And it was a white supremacist symbol. And the white supremacists adopt a lot of the Norse stuff and everything. And as far as like the working out and stuff, they that was like part of what they did too, but they didn't consider it a religion. They were mostly Christians. But so I'm always a little iffy about things to do with Norse symbols and things like that, because I understand the Norse religion and the creation story, for the Norse creation story. I'll do that one day because that is it's an entertaining one. It'll of course there's no validity to it, but it's entertaining. But yeah, no thanks on anything to do with Norse stuff.
5. Worship of the tiki god is what happens when Hawaiian bar decor gets a little too spiritual. These folks treat tiki idols as vessels of ancient Polynesian deities, gods of fertility, fire, and fruity rum cocktails. Devotees hold elaborate ceremonies involving torchlit rituals, chanting, and enough pineapple slices to summon diabetes. Yes, there's kitsch, but there's also a deep reverence for Polynesian mythology, albeit filtered through a piña colada. It's like attending a religious luau where the line between divine worship and tourist trap is very, very blurry.
So I actually knew a little bit about that. I know that there are people who they make tikis in the form of whatever deities that they believe in and worship, and they do a lot of things. I think that's usually associated with like a lot of drinking and beach parties is where people, not the people that believe it, but where people come to see it from. I don't know a lot about that, but I think all these are going to suffer the same problem of you're proposing supernatural things with no reason to do so.
6. The Church of Bacon preaches that bacon is not just food, it's a holy relic. Their 10 commandments include rules like, "Thou shalt praise crispy strips," and "All religions shall be respected, unless they forbid bacon." Their version of communion? weekend brunch. Despite the absurd premise, their message is surprisingly wholesome. Enjoy life, love others, and never skip breakfast. They've got rituals, merch, even holidays
Whoa, did you see that AI picture where the tongue was all crooked and shit? Wow.
like International Bacon Day. And let's be honest, it's probably the only church where drool is considered a spiritual response.
All right. So I don't understand how that's a religion because there's no deity or creator or God or anything like that. They say they worship bacon, but it's just people who love bacon. I think you can still be an atheist and do that, kind of like the Satanic Temple. Um, it seems like their commandments or tenets are respectful of others and stuff like that. So I might be down for the bacon religion, guys. I'm, any religion for lard asses, I'm down for.
7. Happy Science sounds like a rejected name for a self-help podcast, but it's actually a Japanese new religious movement with followers in the US. Its founder, Ryuho Okawa, claims he can channel the spirits of Jesus, Buddha, and Albert Einstein. Yes, the theoretical physicist apparently has opinions from the afterlife. Their teachings are a wild mashup of sci-fi, reincarnation, and motivational speaking. And if you're wondering what kind of literature fuels this cosmic conference call, they've published hundreds of books with titles like The Laws of the Sun. It's spiritual enlightenment, but with a PowerPoint.
Some of the things that he mentioned there are pretty interesting, but it seems like that theoretical physicist is a con man. Uh, and how does your, like, I understand you can have a polytheistic like religion or whatever, but if you're acknowledging that Jesus is real and Buddha is real, but then you're denying all the stuff that all the tenets and stuff of those of the doctrine that goes with those religions. Seems like a con man to me. I was in a rehab program, and my roommates, it was a young black punk rocker and an older ex-convict with tons of Norse white supremacy tattoos. Yeah, there's a lot of that. Yeah, I've seen a lot of that too, and whenever, like, even like, I know a lot of atheists who sport Thor's hammer and have Thor's hammer tattoos and stuff like that, and like, I understand that it's a different culture and things in when you're locked up and stuff, but it just kind of makes me like cringe a little bit because of my experience with those things. I'm not judging those people that have those things. It's just kind of odd to me.
8. The Order of the Golden Dawn might sound like a metal band, but it's actually an occult group mixing ceremonial magic, Kabbalah, and alchemy. It started in the UK but found fertile ground in America's esoteric circles. These guys take robes and incantations seriously. Think less Burning Man, more Hogwarts, for adults who never grew out of their Edgar Allan Poe phase. While many left the organization behind in the 20th century, some in the US still keep the rituals alive, summoning ancient energies in basements that smell suspiciously like incense and regret. 9. The Church of the
I'm just gonna kind of skip that one. That one's like a shadowy, like, that sounds more like one of those like Skull and Bones groups or something. Like, it's just a like a secret society, probably a bunch of white dudes in robes getting together and doing weird stuff. I don't know. I don't know anything about it. And yeah, if he can channel all three of them, then I have all kinds of questions to ask about Tori. Yeah, yeah, no doubt. Like, if you're channeling supernatural beings and having conversations, yeah, let's. He's a theoretical physicist. He should be able to provide some kind of evidence. I mean, he should realize that. That's why I say he's a con man.
Whisperer is basically Disney's Brother Bear, but with a theology degree. Followers believe animals are divine messengers, and dogs in particular are seen as sacred beings with wisdom far beyond their tail.
Oh, so we have some comments on that one. The esoteric Order of the Golden Dawn is a common faction in video games. Wolfenstein. Uh, Golden Dawn is an offshoot of spiritual Satanism. Ah, yeah. So yeah, it's kind of what I thought. Yeah.
Wags. Members practice spiritual communication with animals, meditating in forests, performing blessing ceremonies for pets, and sometimes asking their parakeet for life advice. Sure, your dog may not have all the answers, but let's be real. He does judge you when you reach for the third slice of cake. And maybe that's divine guidance enough.
So again, if you're having conversations with dogs and cats and birds, and they're answering you, I would like to. I would like to observe that. I would like to. I'd like to know more of that. So the first 9, I'm still an atheist so far, folks. Searching for a new religion here. I haven't found one yet.
10. Kybology is a satire-fueled religion born in the internet's weirdest corners. It's built on absurdity, randomness, and a commitment to mocking everything, including itself. There are no gods, no sins, and no sacred cows, unless it's funny. It worships chaos the way others worship deities. Online forums serve as temples, and their scriptures are digital rants and memes. It's basically Reddit, but if it declared itself holy. For Kybologists, life's too weird to take seriously, so why not build a religion that celebrates the nonsense? Because sometimes, enlightenment looks a lot like an ironic shrug.
So is that? I mean, I think what he explained there is that's a religion of trolls. It's just trolls. I'm not sure whether to show or hide these 2 posts that were held, so I'm going to show them. Crap, topologists. Yeah, yeah. If it's not being incredibly bad, just go ahead and let them through. I'm not. Yeah. Um. So whenever you come into my chat, it gives you a few rules, and as long as you're within those rules, we're all good. Um, if you break those rules, you'll get a couple warnings, timed out, and then I will personally ban you myself. Or my mods. I don't care if they ban people. If if I've given you the ability to ban people, it's because I want you to do it if necessary. Yeah, yeah, you're good. Let's farm. All good. I look. I have you here as a moderator, and me and you talk and whatever, because I trust your judgment on those things, right? Like, you guys that are mods and stuff, you help make it possible for me to achieve the goal I'm trying to achieve, which is to provide a safe space for like-minded people to come and hang out and watch stuff. Yeah, and definitely let's farm. I know you would. That's why you're here. That's why I trust you, brother. All right.
11. The Church of the Holy Donut turns every bite into a spiritual experience. Literally.
Hell yeah.
These believers see the donut as the divine symbol of completeness, indulgence, and cosmic roundness. Forget the Eucharist. These folks offer glazed rings of sugary salvation. Services involve baking, blessing, and, of course, devouring donuts as sacred sacrifices, often accompanied by chanting such as, "Holy be thy glaze." While their theology might be fluffier than their pastries, members claim deep spiritual unity through sprinkles and shared carbs. If you're looking for a religion that fills the hole in your soul and your stomach, this might just be it.
I was down for it until he said fills your hole. I don't know if I want that. Um, I'm pretty down for getting together and eating donuts. I don't know about all that spiritual hole filling shit though. Like, they may be able to keep that. Not for me. Ryan Lopez, don't be an asshole. Like, what? don't like. I don't know where you're going with that, but don't be an asshole, man. Like we're having fun here. This is a fun video. People are hanging out and talking. Like don't don't make it a shitty time, okay? I don't want to block you. Um, and I'm not trying to be like uh, on the offense with you or anything. I'm just saying like I've seen this line of chats before, and I hope it's not going where they usually go. Don't be mean to people. It's Pride Month, Ryan. Celebrate Pride Month with us or fuck off.
12. Dudism is less a religion and more a lifestyle sponsored by bowling alleys and bathrobes. Modeled after the dude from The Big Lebowski, this movement encourages chilled-out vibes, minimal effort, and spiritual laziness, aka taking it easy, man. Followers believe the world is too uptight and that peace comes from letting go. There are no holy wars, no commandments, just an infinite pursuit of white Russians and Zen-level relaxation. In a world full of chaos, Dudists have one sacred mantra: abide. And if life ever gets too intense, there's always the option to bowl it off. 13. The church.
That's not a religion. Um, that's that's just that's just saying I don't want to do my religion. Dave's with us. Give me just a second. I get him on stage with me. I gotta do some things first to make it work here. No, come on, get up there where you're supposed to be, Dave. Dave, quit acting up. Get up there where you're supposed to be. You're not on camera, so I'm not too worried about. Well, I mean, if you want to come on camera, you obviously can. It's not up to me, but
Church of Clowns is no joke, unless that's the
hold on,
entire
hold
point.
on, hold the fuck on. Um, what's up, Dave?
What's up, Joe?
How you doing?
Good. I don't have a shirt on right now, or I'd come on camera.
Hey, you want me to take mine off? I will. I've done it before. We can do this. We can do this titties out if you want. Um, I'm just messing with you, man.
Yeah, I'm enjoying the weather whenever I can. I don't put a shirt on because I don't like having a shirt on when it's nice out.
I seen you over. I seen you over at Bree's. Bree had a good show today, didn't she?
Yep, she just wrapped up, and I hopped on over here.
Yeah, I was over there hanging out and talking and stuff for a while. I left because I had to set all this crap up. But
Mhm.
the way I've been doing things lately, I'm running two computers at the same time to do this. I've got like I'm streaming from my good computer now, which seems to be able to handle everything a lot better. I'm not roboting out or anything when I do everything, and I'm running it in studio mode. Let's just switch out of that. That would probably help. Let's go like this. There we go. That's easier. Um, if oh shit, what I do? If somebody will type exclamation point Bigfoot in the chat, it'll give you Dave's info. Uh, Speaking of which, I set up some fun things on my chat bot for everybody I haven't even told you about. I guess if people are going to use them, I have to tell you, huh? So, um, there's more evidence for dudology than others, as the Big Lebowski and the movie production history. Oh yeah, sure, sure. I think any modern made up bullshit is better supported than the ancient uh, religions that people worship today. But so check this out, guys. I don't know if you know, but I'm a big weed smoker, and like I enjoy my pot. So I put this thing in here, and if you do this, so if we do that, check this out. Oh, yeah, did I do it right? It's 420 somewhere. Did you know that hemp, a variety of cannabis, was used to make paper, rope, textiles in ancient civilizations? Kappa PJ Salt, the idea that it's all just for getting high, uh, is pretty narrow. So if you it'll give you different quotes and things and information about cannabis if you top exclamation point 420 in the chat, and if you top exclamation point 8 ball, and like if we do like this, if I say 8 ball, uh, and then I say, am I going to be famous? And I hit it. I think that's how it works. Let's see if it worked. The 8 ball said, don't ask that. Okay. Anyway, back to Dave. What's up, man?
They were just talking about Bree in the chat. Yeah, every Saturday morning is Bree, and
Yeah.
I'm there every Saturday morning. I'm a big fan.
Well, that's why I try to wait till 1 o'clock on Saturdays, because I know Bree goes till about that time. And
Yep.
so, like last time I did this, she redirected over to my channel because, but yeah, I love Bree's content.
Okay.
I'm trying to get Bree to come talk to me about bugs,
Yeah.
because right now we've got the cicada plague going on outside, and so I was going to go catch some and use my endoscope camera and look at it real closely and talk about some other bugs and stuff too. But I got to get her here first, you know.
She's going over. I guess Dr. Ben is celebrating 3K today, so they were gonna scoot over there after her show, I guess. And tomorrow, Kip is having his big celebration, 20K.
I think he emailed me something about coming by or something for that. I have to look. I got something about that in my email, but Dr. Ben having a 3K special. That's awesome. Congratulations,
Yep.
Dr. Ben. Congratulations, Durante. Hit 50K. Uh, yeah, that's if you haven't ever went over to Ben's on Twitch and played trivia, it's a blast. It's a lot of fun. We laughed our ass off playing some interactive trivia thing. But yeah, we've got a trivia show in the works here. We did one of them, but more's coming. We're working on that. But have you seen any Bigfoots lately, Dave?
Every time I go out by the pond.
I bet Bigfoot is in this list. What do you think?
Possibly.
Yeah. Well, let's watch some and see what they say, okay?
This religion reveres laughter as a divine act and absurdity as sacred truth. Followers don clown makeup, embrace chaos, and perform slapstick rituals designed to disarm ego and uplift spirits. Sermons may involve pies to the face, kazoo hymns, or interpretive balloon animal scripture.
I love
It's part
it.
comedy,
Yeah.
cult, and part deeply heartfelt mission to replace dread with giggles.
Hell yeah.
Because in
Yeah.
their theology, if the universe isn't laughing with you, you're probably taking it too seriously.
See,
I love that one.
yeah, yeah. Like some of these there's like no deity or anything they worship. This is people getting dressed up and being themselves and having fun and respecting others and caring about being good to each other. I mean, like, how can you say anything bad about that? I mean, you know.
Just don't put them in power, and everything will be fine.
Yeah, yeah, no doubt. Let's not do that.
We got enough in power already. No offense to the clowns.
I guess what it comes down to is these people aren't hurting anybody, right? They're not doing any harm to anybody. They're just
Yep.
being their true selves, being their best self, you know, like living their best life.
Well, that's what I wrapped up with JL yesterday before I left. It's like,
yeah.
if people would just mind their business, there wouldn't be a problem. But when somebody thinks they're right, they want everybody else to follow along. That's where the trouble starts.
Now, see, I wanted to that conversation with JL yesterday. I mean, I kind of felt bad for Issa But that was a really good conversation. I may cut that out and put it up for everybody. That was a really
Well,
good one.
well, again, yeah, I mean, JL has his style, and Issa has his style, and
Yeah,
I think, yeah, it was a little, it got a little bit heated, but
adversarial.
little bit, but it wasn't too bad, and I think Issa is a big boy, and he'll be all right.
Yeah, yeah. I don't think I kind of felt bad because I felt like Issa wasn't really prepared for it or whatever. But
Yeah,
I still feel like he he did a really good job and said some interesting things and made some interesting points. I don't think that he could support the position that he had, of course, because if I did, I wouldn't be an atheist, right? But it was an interesting conversation. JL is just amazing, isn't he? He's on it.
yeah. Well, and Issa was driving and everything, so
Yeah,
that
yeah.
it's kind of hard. I think you should, uh, let them know that get back together again when they
Well,
when he can sit back and yeah.
that's what I was saying. Like, if you guys want to like organize this and sit down and have a conversation, let me set it up so we can do it. Fair to everybody and let you guys have your talk. I imagine JL's going to try to get him to come on his channel, or he's going to respond to something or whatever. But
Yeah, it's a lot of times you have to know your room, right?
yeah, yeah,
Different channels have different ways, and
different
and
strokes for
again,
different folks.
yeah, JL's nice enough, and he doesn't mean it personal either, but he
Yeah,
has his way, and yeah, if you run up against R and Ra or any of those folks, they're ready with their challenges,
yeah.
and that's just
I
how it
mean,
is. Yeah.
I don't think there's nothing wrong if your presence on YouTube is like you're making these claims and statements about what you believe and stuff publicly. I think that's what social media is. I mean, if you're going to claim things, people are going to confront you about those claims, and they're going to have questions about how that works. And I don't think that JL was in any way being rude or mean or anything like that. I just think that JL has done this so much. His experience was like, just he was just ready for it,
Hmm.
and Issa, like you said, was busy driving and stuff. And I would love to see those two sit down and have a fleshed out conversation, because I think it was going in a really interesting direction, because Issa didn't define religion the way that others may define religion, right? Or by the way, it's defined in philosophy or in the dictionary. He holds a different idea of what religion is, and I mean, I always say words have meanings, but like, I can see how um, he rationalizes that, and so I think that it's an interesting position. But also, I think if you're going to say everything is God, everything is religion, then nothing is, because you have no way to compare it to anything else or differentiate from anything else if everything is religion, right?
Yeah, well, he kind of summed it up like it's how you live your life, right? And like we said, he's out there, doing charity stuff and all that, and good for
Ethan's a
him,
great
right?
person. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
am I going to say anything about him, believing in whatever God he believes in? No, because he's a good person,
and
and
and and that's what I
yeah,
tried to tell JL, is that Issa's a really good guy, and does a lot of good community work, and does a lot of great things. And JL's pushback was like, well, if your belief was falsified, then the reasoning behind you living that life and doing all those things fall apart, and where does that leave you? I
right.
think that I think it's an interesting conversation. Like,
Well, there is a good point to it.
yeah,
The
yeah,
absolute power corrupts absolutely, right? I mean,
yeah.
so I say if you put the clown religion in charge, somebody will get power hungry and ruin it for everybody.
Well, with any of these things, as it grows, the number of fundamentalists and eventually fanatics are going to grow too, right? And what does a fanatic of that particular religion look like? I mean, um, like, even with like Christianity, you see people like David Koresh and the Oklahoma City stuff and all that. That was all, rooted in religion and anti-government shit and all that. But like, that's what fanatics end up being, right? And that's why what's going on in our government right now is so scary, because you have fanatical right-wing nationalists who are in power and making decisions, and it's harming people because that's what they want. And the video I published yesterday was Joni Ernst saying that everybody dies and then making a joke out of it and stuff.
Yeah.
And then she goes on to talk about Jesus. Like, she's so let me break it down for anybody that didn't see it. Sorry, guys, we're going to do this real quick. But she did a town hall thing, and she's talking about how they're confronting her about cuts to Medicaid and stuff. And she's like, "Well, it's we're just cutting the illegals that are on it, 1 point so many million illegals, which isn't true to begin with, and people who are cheating the system and stuff." And somebody spoke up and said, "People are going to die because of this." And her response was, "Well, everybody dies." And she missed the point that it was her causing their death. Like she's actively taking part in killing Americans, and she doesn't care. So she got a lot of bad press about that and stuff. And she made an apology video where she comes on and says, they didn't understand this, and I want to apologize for saying that. It's a good thing I didn't have to get into the tooth fairy. And she makes a joke out of it, and then goes on to talk about how everybody's welcome to join her and love Jesus and stuff. And she's still making a joke out of the fact that her actions are going to result in the death of American people. And I think it's as gross as it gets. And I couldn't help but make a video, you know, shedding some light on how awful of a person she is, one, and what our government has in store for us if they're allowed to do everything they want.
Yeah, because they're disgusting, right?
Yeah, yeah,
And then on the other hand, you got folks like Jimmy Carter, devout Christian, didn't badmouth LGBTQ people because he
yeah,
said Jesus loved everybody, and it's like, wow, he must have actually read that book, something about
yeah,
the good parts of Jesus. There are bad parts, but
yeah,
if you can do the good parts, and obviously,
yeah,
up until his almost his literal final days, he was still building houses for people. I mean,
yeah. My
and
grandfather did that. He built houses and fire departments and
yeah,
churches for free. Uh,
and Mr. Rogers is another one.
yeah,
What are you going to say something bad about him because he was a
they tried
minister?
to, didn't they?
Yeah, and it didn't turn out
No,
well because
no,
even non-believers are like, hey man,
yeah,
there's a lot of people to talk about that are awful, and
yeah, yeah,
don't badmouth the good ones, even if they're believers. Yeah, but ultimately though, yeah, I do have I do have a problem with the power thing, and
well,
I'm sure believers that actually have some retrospective and everything know there are problems.
yeah. So the way I look at that is that there are believers who try to live their life on the teachings of Jesus, the positive teachings, and they try to um, follow the mantra of love thy neighbor as thyself, right?
Mm,
And the I think that that's fun. Like I'm glad that they're doing that. I'm glad that they're out there helping people and doing good and all that other stuff. Where I have a problem is though is that because what Christianity is so vague that there's all these denominations, and it Christianity allows for this fanatical ultranationalism and for this hate towards your fellow man. Christianity promotes those kind of things, and so even though they're not observing those things, they're they're contributing to what overall is an ugly religion that is trying to be forced on all of us. And so I don't have anything against those people. and I love that they're living their life that way. But as a whole, when I look at it, it's it's not something I enjoy seeing. But I'm not out to get anybody anyway. I'm just doing my thing here,
And it's there's good people that do good things that are religious and non-religious all around the world, and the idea that they're only doing it because of their religion, that may apply to some, but I think some people,
are just good people.
they're good people, yeah, and if they dropped the religion or adopted a religion, it wouldn't change that they're good people.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree completely. And
It's a tough one, because just for being realistically, you can't expect everybody to be atheist tomorrow. It's just not going to happen. But we can, try to talk with believers to say, hey, look, I don't have the problem with your belief when you keep it to yourself. It's, trying to push it on somebody else.
proselytizing,
Yeah, I can understand, spreading the word and everything. But if somebody says no, you say, okay, have a nice day. You know what I mean? And go on your way. You know what I mean?
Well, the thing that after I deconstructed, the thing that bothered me the most at that time is that when I was growing up and they taught me young earth creationism and all those other lies and stuff, sure, I was upset about that. But I was also the the part that bothered me is like that preacher who stood up there and said racist things and awful things and everything wanted to teach the good part of the Bible and leave out all the bad parts. And they misrepresented what Christianity is and what it means. And that really bothered me a lot. That pissed me off because it's like, not only did you lie to me, but you tried to con me into your blood cult by only telling the good parts,
Right.
All
Well,
right.
I was listening to the Seventh-day Adventist guy the other day, and yeah, they do a lot of good things. They have a lot of schools. They have a lot of hospitals. They go to all kind of countries. They do charity. They have a mission to be like Jesus.
Yeah.
However, they're also big on, their YEC type pseudoscience, and, it's like, yeah, up to that point, it's like, wow, you guys sound pretty great, right? You're out there doing all these things, schools and hospitals, and not, exclusively just for, religious people. They're out there actually, trying to help people,
Oh
but
yeah,
then,
yeah.
then that's, the yabba dabba do stuff. And it's like,
Yeah.
there's a problem because as we've seen, with climate or what bugs going around or anything else, there it pops up, the pseudoscience problems.
I'll be doing the yabba dabba do thing at the Ark encounter dressed as Pebbles. And if you're here and you don't know what I'm talking about with the Ark encounter, is it going to. Oh. Yeah, I don't know if it's going to show up. All right. Anyway, back to the other thing. Thank you, poor Claire, a $4.99 super chat, 1 cent short of going towards the goal, but I appreciate it all the same. Happy Science is Wild. They have their own political party and schools. They also have anime films you can watch. I saw some on Riverboat Jack's Lives. Awesome, and thank you for the super chat, Claire. There is a super chat goal set up of and if we meet that goal next week, I will make a prison cooking video where I show you how we made food and stuff in prison. I'll do I'll do the whole thing, show you how I prepare everything and all that. But I set it for 10 $5 super chats. We probably won't get that. If so, next time I'll set it for like 10 $1 super chats or $5 super chats. I'll make it a little more obtainable. I set it out of reach, I think. But thank you, Claire. What's up, Randy?
Hey, Randy.
Oh, it does count. Okay, cool, cool, cool. Um, yeah, because the way it lists it is by color. So, and I guess that's teal. Um, so yeah, I guess that does count. Um, the number went up. Awesome, awesome, good deal. Oh, that's right. And yeah, I forgot about that, Regios. I got a bunch of emails and shit about that. Yeah, I forgot about it. Uh oh, captive desk there with a $5 super chat. Prison chef. I was a prison chef. People would ask me to come make their food for them because I was good at it. Um, the we made some crazy stuff. I will maybe I'll set up a poll or something if we reach the goal and let everybody pick what recipe we make. Some are obviously harder than others, but thanks, Dave. I appreciate it.
Looking forward to it.
Yeah. All right. So, and I put Dave's information there in the chat. Go over there and subscribe if you're not. Dave has been killing it lately, growing and doing awesome streams and stuff, and having a blast, aren't you, Dave?
I'm having a lot of fun with a lot of fun folks, and yeah, trying to lighten things up. Not that I don't take important issues seriously, but like the clown religion there, we all need to take 5 and have some fun. So
yeah, when I'm having an adversarial debate with somebody, my attitude towards that person, you would expect to be different than it is towards the people within my own community and my friends, right? I mean, right?
Yep.
Yep. And we got to remember, like, yeah, you can hold people accountable for things and question things, but you don't have to make a public spectacle of it. And
Joe and I disagree on stuff, and we're still cool because we're adults like that. So,
how far are you from Columbus, Dave?
Columbus is in the middle of the state,
and you're way up north.
Yeah, it's 2.5 hours, give or take.
I'll be in Columbus for 4 or 5 days here next month.
I heard you tell Nitty.
Oh, that's right. You were there. What am I doing? All right. Let's just play the damn video, okay? Number 14.
14. The Church of the Latter-day Dude isn't just a sequel to Dudism. It's the deluxe edition. Here,
this is hilarious because they hadn't mentioned this yet, and everybody was talking about this religion in chat just a minute ago. So that's cool.
Dude is a full-blown prophet, and his bowling scores are sacred texts. They've codified the lifestyle with ceremonial robes, bathrobes, holy drinks, white Russians, and prayerful chants lifted from the Big Lebowski. Worship may include watching the film like it's the new book of Revelation, and sharing spiritual reflections like, that rug really tied the room together. If you've ever wanted religion without the pressure, and with more bowling shoes, welcome home, dude.
See, that's people having fun and hanging out with people that like to have fun. It's not really a religion, I don't think they take themselves that seriously,
I see the memes come around for dudism.
Yeah. All right.
15. The Process. Church of the Final Judgment came out of the 1960s like a psychedelic fever dream dipped in dogma. It fused Christianity, Satanism, apocalypse predictions, and a fashion sense that screamed, "Goth cult goes to Burning Man." Members wore black robes, claimed that Christ and Lucifer would reconcile, and believed humanity was approaching a divine judgment. Though the group faded, their eerie aesthetic and philosophical mashups still influence dark spiritual subcultures today. Think of it as the religious equivalent of mixing tequila with absinthe. Potent, risky, and probably not FDA approved. 16.
What do you think about that one, Dave?
Yeah, I think it would be nice if Jesus and Satan could reconcile and stop all this demonic activity that seems to be causing all the problems in the world, because it always seems to be demons. So Yeah, if we could get them to sit down and burn one and have a good time, things might be a whole lot better in the so-called spiritual realm.
Dane's in the chat here. Dane has a unique religious belief. Maybe we should talk to him about that sometime. I think that so. First of all, like they kind of buttered me up with pictures of goth girls. I got a thing for goth girls, dude. But the they this obsession with the apocalypse and everybody dying for some benefit, like I think that that's always a bit like creepy. I think that that's you're rubbing elbows back with that blood cult shit, right? Like, and I don't know that those people are actually doing any harm to anybody. It doesn't seem that they are, but like still, it's a little weird for me. I'm not gonna make any like hard judgments about it, but it's suspicious. I'll say that.
Discordianism is the only religion that might require a whoopee cushion and a rubber chicken as sacred objects.
They
I love it already.
They need to hook up with the clowns there. They'd have a blast.
Yeah. Dane loves goth girls too.
Who doesn't love goth girls?
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't know. I just you know.
as long as they haven't had too much coffee.
I just had an argument with somebody in my Facebook where, first of all, they were arguing that being homosexual isn't natural because I've been promoting a lot of stuff for Pride Month. Everybody's seen the memes and stuff I've been putting up that Jess made, and they were arguing. They said that you do choose who you're attracted to, and I said no, that's not true. Like you can't help who you're attracted to, and you know, like I'm attracted to goth girls. I can't say that I'm not. You know, like I can't just decide not to be. You know, I can't decide to be attracted to, you know, rich snobby bitches instead of goth girls. It's not. It's just not a choice like that, right? I mean, don't you agree with that?
Oh yeah.
Like you don't. The things you believe and emotional responses and things like that, the reason there are emotional responses and beliefs is because they're not based on critical thinking or thought. They're based on a knee-jerk reaction, right? And you don't choose that react. That's the whole point of them being what they are. You know, like I don't get that argument. But all right, back to the fun thing. Whoopee cushions and rubber chickens. Play the goddamn video, Joe.
Followers worship Eris, goddess of chaos, through pranks, fake holidays, and absurd literature like the Principia Discordia.
The clowns.
Their holy commandment? Do what you will, but expect unexpected consequences. It's part satire, part spiritual mind bender, and entirely allergic to serious.
Hold on. There are thousands of religions, but only Jesus Christ was crucified, died, and rose from the dead to save those that did repent, surrender, and receive him as Lord and Savior and follow him. I don't believe you. How do you like that?
Yeah.
If you want to come and defend that position, you're welcome to, as long as you're not like a big asshole. If you want to come and you know, try to defend that and let me explain to you why that kind of thinking is irrational and silly, I will. I don't think you're silly. I think you're probably indoctrinated. But if you want to talk about it, we can. Let me know. Vortex Alpha.
And we don't argue that there was, well, at least I don't argue that there was a Jesus that was crucified.
No.
When you get into the zombie stories, that's when you got to look at this word on the screen. Seriousness, okay?
No.
When you start talking about a prophet, you know, that spoke things and had a following and maybe said some good things about, you know, helping the poor and class systems, a lot of people have done that. But when you add in that he was also a zombie. It's just, it's just over the top. You just couldn't let it go. There was a good enough story about Jesus being a good guy. That's good enough.
Yeah.
You don't have to add the extra stuff to it. You don't.
Yeah, no doubt. And like, I think it's really strange because we get this a lot, right, on all of our channels where we're just talking and all of a sudden some Christian shows up and says, "Oh, Jesus, blah blah blah, this is all true." And it's like, you haven't, like, you came here to the channel and I appreciate you coming and watching. I really do, honestly. And I'm willing to have a conversation with anybody that wants to. But you come and say those things knowing that we're going to say, okay, how do you support that claim? And knowing that you can't. Like, again, we're willing to have the conversations, but just popping in out of nowhere and making some absurd claim about Jesus is kind of strange to do in an atheist channel. But it happens often, right? All
And
right,
we
let's
and
see.
we cover a lot of these things on Saturday Night at the Atheists every week. Stop by and have a listen, and we'll give you answers to origins of the universe and life and everything. We have answers.
So, once you have a superior explanation of origins without a creator, I'll be interested. Your confession of incredulity means nothing to me. So let me explain something to you real quick, Vortex Alpha. I don't owe you an explanation for anything. Um, I am pretty well versed in origins of the universe and that stuff. There's some things we don't know, and I admit so, and that's that. But the you shoehorning Jesus and God into those positions is the extraordinary claim that's being made here. So I don't owe you an explanation, but you do. You are the one that carries the burden to support the extraordinary claims that you're making. Now, that being said, that's in a debate style setting. I'm not even suggesting that. We can have a debate if that's what you wish, but I don't think you really want to do that. We can have a conversation though if you want to talk about those things, and you have no idea what I know about cosmology or the origin of life or evolution or any of those things. You don't know what I know about those things. So I don't know why you're saying that it's incredulity. I haven't given you any incredulity. I asked you to back up the absurd claim that you made. So when you're ready to do that and have that conversation, we can have it. But just taking shots at me in the chat isn't going to get you anywhere. I mean, like, I'm not going to block you or time you out or anything like that as long as you don't. Uh, we don't know. Why should confessed ignorance be attractive to a believer? I believe based on positive evidence. Well, here's the thing. If you have evidence that there is a creator God and that God is the Christian God, then I encourage you to come and show that evidence. Um, and you want to say the Bible, we'll talk about the Bible if you want to. And I'll have a peaceful conversation with you. I'm not. In fact, my audience gets on to me all the time for being too nice to the theists I talk to. Um,
Me too,
so
Joe. Me too.
yeah, I know. So seriously, if you want to have that conversation and you have evidence, if you have evidence that is convincing that a God exists, I will become a Christian on the spot. Okay, for real. I used to be a Christian, a young Earth creationist Christian, and if you can provide evidence of a Creator God, I will convert back to Christianity on the spot because I'm honest about it. I let the evidence drive my conclusion, not magical thinking. Yes, Dane, you can come on if you can behave. Can you behave, Dane? Hold on. I have to. I got to figure out how to sing. Here, I'll just post the link to that for you. Or Vortex, if you want to come on right now. Well, we should probably do that when it's me and you, because I don't want you to feel like you're persecuted or being jumped on or any of that stuff. But you're welcome to join if you want to do it now. But we could definitely set up a time to have a talk if you want to. However you want to do it, I'm down for anything. We can even do it and not record it if you want. I don't care. We could have a talk in Discord, just me and you. Like I don't give a shit. Like I said, I'm open to having honest conversations with anybody that wants to have them. Here's the link if anybody wants to join. Uh, okay,
And citing Jesus isn't going to do any good if that's where you're going, because Jesus didn't write anything down. So find
so
something that Jesus wrote and get back to me.
so you're misrepresenting what the Bible says there. Actually, Vortex, um, Jesus told them that he would return before the last of them tasted death, and he did not do that. So that's a failed prophecy and not evidence of anything. Um, the As for Jesus giving a sign, this goes into the problem of deception. Um, Jesus tells his followers that if somebody claims to be the Son of God or God themselves or whatever, that they can test them, and he says, "You can test me." But here's the problem with that: um, a supernatural, all-powerful being such as God or Satan, us as humans, we have no way to actually test that. The Bible says that Satan can masquerade as an angel of light, and that he can deceive even the elect. And so, how are we as humans then to determine whether that's true or not? And that is what the scriptures say. It's exactly what they say. I didn't conflate anything. I told you exactly what Jesus said. You made a statement saying that he said something, but you left out parts of it. So again, if you want to have that conversation, we absolutely can. And if you think that I'm stupid and don't know what I'm talking about, then come on here and make a fool of me. You're welcome to. You can come on here and prove an atheist wrong and be famous, because none of you have ever managed to do it. All right. Sorry. You know how I get.
No, it's a thing. I mean, I pull the age card. I'm almost 60 years old. All right. Yeah, if you've got something new, I'd love to hear it. The thing is, though, every time we have somebody on to talk, they just bring up the same old things, and it's we've already dismissed it. So repeating it is not going to change our minds. These are things we've already dismissed. You have to have something new to tell us.
Did Jesus return before the last of them tasted death? That's my
Nope.
question. Yeah, because you're trying to make it about something else, but the fact is that it didn't happen. So either way, if that claim is false, then why are we to believe the others?
And he didn't fulfill any of the prophecies
he
for
did
the
nothing.
Messiah either.
And if Christianity is true, it requires that Judaism is true. And Judaism, the ones, I believe that since they made up their religion too, they don't support Jesus as the Messiah at all. So why.
Well, it almost seems like they read
He
their
said, "What are
prophecy
you
and
talking?
Paul didn't.
What are you talking about?" He's not referring to his return. He specifically says, "I will return before the last of you taste death."
Yep.
He is talking about his return.
He was asked.
It's
They
those
said when
actual
it.
words.
Yeah, he was asked, when will this happen? And he said, there will still be some of you around when it happens. And they're all gone. So he specifically answered a question with a when. And that's the problem with prophecy. Never give a what, where, and a when, because it will fail. And that's my challenge to anybody that can produce a prophecy that happens after you tell me is a what, where, and a
Why does
when.
it keep doing that? So check this out, Vortex. I'm not going to do this with you here. I will answer this one thing. I've given you an invite to come talk about it if you want. Like I said, we don't even have to do it on live or camera if you don't want. But we're doing something else here, so I'm going to move on.
Yep.
But I will answer this one thing. So whenever you talk about the prophecies of Daniel and Jeremiah and all that stuff, when were the scriptures written? When was the New Testament that fulfilled those prophecies written? It was written way after the fact any of it happened, and scholars agree with that completely. So it seems, because they made mistakes in some of the prophecies that they said Jesus fulfilled, it seems that it was written to fulfill those prophecies. It was a self-fulfilling prophecy, because whenever they wrote down the books about Jesus, They made him what he needed to be because if they didn't, the Jews would have just had them all murdered, right? The Jews would have had them all put to death for heresy, because if they didn't believe that this figure had a tie into the Jewish religion, Judaism, then those people would it would have been all bad for them. Yeah, you can say I'm wrong all you want, but like I said, bring evidence.
Well, bottom line,
No, yes,
two-thirds.
Hold on. Yes, Daniel was written way before, but when they wrote to fulfill that prophecy was way after the fact that it happened, right? They wrote the books afterwards, and nobody was eyewitness to any of those things in the synoptics or any of the New Testaments. Paul is the most reliable source in the New Testament. Many of those are forgeries, and the things that are written by Paul says that Paul was not a witness to anything, but people told him these stories, and they weren't witnesses to everything. So to anything. So you have nothing there. You have a big bowl of nothing.
Well, the prophecies, they claim 2/3 have been fulfilled. Okay. Mm-hmm. So let's set those aside. You've got another 1/3 of these hundreds and hundreds of prophecies. Give us one that happens after today. We'll write it down right now. Next Tuesday, a mountain's going to fall over. And we'll write it down. And then next Tuesday, whatever it is, wherever it is, whenever it is, get back with us and we'll see if it's happened. The problem is, out of the 1/3 that haven't happened yet, I can't get one with a what, where, and a when. Yeah. So it's very easy. I will concede defeat if you can say this prophecy says next week, next month, or I always say, like within the next 10, 20 years, because I am getting old and I'd like to live to see it. So, give us that, and I'll write it down. Jim Bob said in 2 years such and such was going to happen, right? So we wrote it down, and we're going to get back in 2 years and see if he was right or not. It's very simple. Yeah.
You're giving a date for when Jesus was crucified, but not even the Gospels agree on that date. So why you're suggesting that it was that is yeah, your own book contradicts you here. Never mind the evidence. Yeah. You and what was written down in 33 AD about any of that? Nothing was written down then. Many years after the fact, people who were not eyewitnesses wrote this down. Those scraps of those, the size of a quarter, remain, and anonymous authors wrote the New Testament, and scholars unanimously agree on those facts. So like I said, bring evidence. Bring evidence that what you're saying is true. You're making claim after claim after claim. The Bible says this. You've given no reason to suggest that we should even trust the Bible for what I just said, which scholarship agrees with. Even though many of them are Christians, they agree with what I said about when it was written. Anyway, that's enough. Like I said,
who's next?
There's an offer. If you want to take me up on it, you can. I'll be nice and friendly to you. We'll have a talk. But if not, I'm done with this conversation. I have a show to do.
Seriousness. If you've ever felt spiritually moved by a banana peel or found divine meaning in a bureaucratic glitch, congratulations. You might be a Discordian. Hail Eris and pass the anarchy.
See, Ray Comfort's in the wrong religion.
Despite its glossy Hollywood makeover, began with some truly out there beliefs. Founded by L. Ron Hubbard, a science fiction writer, it teaches that humans are spiritual beings weighed down by trauma from ancient alien wars.
Ooh.
Yes, wars.
Nate.
In volcanoes, millions of years ago.
In volcanoes?
Members strive to purge themselves of these thetans through a form of spiritual audit/therapy that requires a credit.
I want to be in the volcano war religion.
I'm intrigued. I haven't heard the battles in the volcano before.
If they'll just add the Starship Enterprise to this, I'm in. I'm in the I don't know camp, Vortex. Yes, and so are you. That's the problem.
Yeah.
You're making claims about things you don't know. Claims about what happens to us ultimately after we die that you don't know. Nobody knows.
And I don't
Because you
care.
make unfalsifiable claims.
And I don't care. An atheist doesn't believe in God. An atheist is not required to be a cosmologist, a physicist, a biologist, or anything else. Because guess what? I'm none of those things. I was a technician for a lot of years, okay? I wasn't in any of those fields. And yet I still am an atheist. It has nothing to do with whether or not I can tell you where the universe came from or anything else. It's the fact that your story sounds really silly to me. Magic zoo boat. Zoo boat.
Listen, it's great comfort stuff. The banana proves God exists.
Yeah.
The banana proves that we know how to genetically modify fruit.
Oh, he responded to me, or at least whatever their people's is or whatever over there. Hold on a second. Where's it? Yeah, I got a response. Let's see. He said, you have blind faith in a fairy tale for grown-ups because it gives you a license to watch your adult content. The word for adult content. Am I wrong? I said, yeah, you are wrong. But you're always wrong, Ray. It's the only right thing about you.
It's what you do. It's what you do. You go around being wrong about things.
It's the only thing he does right. What's up, Dane?
What's up, man?
Am I allowed to hit a bong or no?
Hell yeah.
All right, so I got this bong about ready. All right, I was just checking.
Yeah, I agree with you, Regios. I think they're a Poe. Blind faith. That's the stupidest thing anybody's ever said. Now you're just saying stupid things. I don't believe you're real.
Yeah.
You jumped the shark, my friend. You jumped the shark.
You know, a lot of words have a lot of definitions and complex definitions and changing definitions, but atheist pretty much is still the same thing. It's very concise. It's somebody that doesn't believe in God, and that goes for Christians who do not believe in other gods.
So since Dane's hitting his bong, I put on there, it's 420 somewhere. Did you know that cannabis has been used for thousands of years for medicinal and spiritual purposes? The plant's so versatile, it basically is an ancient superfood with history that could fill a book.
And
there's your 420 fact for Dane's
I got some killer glow-in-the-dark green. My dude came through. I said, dude, I'm in no rush. I want that special. And he came through for me. So thanks, my dude.
Did somebody throw up Pascal's wager, Regios? Now we're laughing at you.
That's a plea to ignorance.
Yeah.
Pascal's wager.
Yeah.
I like the Homer Simpson version. What if we're praying to the wrong God and making him mad?
Well, see, that's part of the deal. Is Christians like to act like they're praying to this. They like to claim that their God is the God of David, but that's not true because they recreated Jesus in their own image that they wanted.
Yep.
Or they recreated Yahweh in the image they wanted and called it Jesus. And then they turn around and say, hey, no one can create God in their own image. You know, not after they did it, you know, but that's so clear on all the different denominations within Christianity.
What's the first commandment? Do you know? Are you asking me? Yeah. Do you know the first commandment?
I don't have them all written down right here in front of me. So I was raised up with Christianity.
So the first commandment is, thou shalt have no other gods before me. What does Jesus say? Jesus says that the only way to the Father is through me. It directly contradicts the first commandment. Yep. So what they did at the First Council of Nicaea is they created the Trinity out of thin air because it's not supported biblically in any way.
Yep.
That's my that's for me. That's one of the big things that it's like, oh, it's your very first commandment, and all of their commandments they immediately broke. But it's contradictory as hell. Yeah.
And Jesus cannot come back and be the Messiah either, because the Messiah will be a man, not a supernatural being. And if you come back from the dead to fulfill the prophecy, you are a supernatural being. You're no longer a man.
That's why the Jews
I like
don't
that.
accept him, because he didn't bring the apocalypse with him. Whenever the Messiah came, it was the end of the world. The whole idea behind Jesus was that he was going to lead them to free them from occupation by the Romans. It was about hope. That's why they created all this, because they needed it as a morale booster to go into war against the Romans who occupied them. The temple was sacked 70 years later, well, in 70 AD, and nothing happened. No apocalypse happened. The end didn't happen, and Jesus didn't return.
He didn't sit on the throne of David either, and nobody has since 500 BCE. It's been sitting empty for a long time.
Every major piece of doctrine for the Christian religion is either contradicted by other parts of the Christian religion or completely failed historically. Sorry.
Well, not for me personally, I use the 10 Commandments to prove that Yahweh, Jesus, can't possibly be the one true creator because of the inherent built-in contradiction. Because there's examples of Yahweh supporting adultery all through the Bible. There is
Yes.
examples of Yahweh supporting coveting all through the Bible. There's examples of Yahweh supporting every single covenant that he imposes on us. And the argument I like to use is because for those who don't know me, I'm a non-Abrahamic, true monotheist. I make my own shit up. I drink my own Kool-Aid. I don't base none of my shit off of the Abrahamic dogmas.
At least
But
you're
essentially,
honest.
I do believe in the yeah, yeah. Well, see, to me, every word ever spoken is the word of God. To me, followers of Abraham have greatly distorted what the one true creator actually is. And you can believe in the one true creator without the broken theology of Abraham. And there's different ways to it, like you don't have to,
You can believe in
and that's what they like to
unicorns.
do yeah, it's whatever. It's my imagination. I can do whatever I want with it.
Yeah. Yeah, right. That's what I wasn't being mean to you. I was just saying, like,
No. I'm just saying. Me and everyone, me and you, like it's my imagination. I'll do whatever I want with it.
if you have imagined up something, now I do think there can be a downside to those things, but if that's how you um ground your moral code, so to speak, something Christians like to say, if that's what helps you to be a better person and centers you and helps you to understand the world and stuff, I think that I disagree with you, obviously, but I have no problem with that, and you're honest about it, so whatever.
Well, we've talked about it in private before,
Yeah.
but see me, I see every person as well. All consciousness is an extension of the omni consciousness, and we are all God. So every person is just another version of me living the infinite life that we all share. So if you look at things that way, then you wouldn't hurt another part of you. So that kind of explains something that I told you in private that might help people understand
Yeah.
where I'm coming from a little bit.
Yeah, no, and we had a great conversation, Dane. I enjoyed talking to you, and like I
Yeah.
said, did I not hold up to my thing that I'll sit and have a conversation with anybody that wants to be honest and have a conversation?
Oh, absolutely.
We had
You,
we
Check
had
it out.
Dane on. We had Dane on over at Mike's channel too. It's like whatever agree or disagree, whatever, it doesn't matter as long as it's civil. And like we brought up Jim Bob over there, he doesn't know how to be civil. You want to talk about something? You got the crowd here. I mean, Joe and I and Mike and all of us in the group around, a lot of the YouTubers, Nitty, a lot of us. Come on, we're happy to talk with you about anything, including Bigfoot. Bring it. I love talking about just about any kind of these supernatural things. But
Well,
yeah,
that guy in the comments,
don't be
like
a
he needs
dick.
to come on. People, they want to hijack the comments, but they don't have the balls to come on and talk to you face to face. And that's
he's a
where I,
he's a poe. He's
I've been
not
on a
even
lot
for
of different
real.
shows. I've been on a deconstructing Christianity with Coach Renz. I've been on a bunch of different shows. I call up to the different atheist call-in shows, and I have a lot of those on my own channel. I'll go back and re-record it and do a reaction, put it on my channel and stuff.
I've watched those.
But
Some of them.
yeah.
I've gone in the Lion's Den on Christian and Muslim channels
Yep.
both.
Yep.
I like
Yeah,
what
I do that. Yeah. I do that too. I go to Christian channels. I go to Jew channels. I go to Muslim channels. I check out spiritual shit. I'm just all over the place on my theology. I hang out with fucking pagans and atheists. But see,
Okay.
not all atheists agree either. So
No,
when
they
you say,
don't.
we disagree, not all of one group agrees on everything anyway.
Not
So
Christians
Yep.
don't.
living to
No two
living
Christians
to learn
agree.
with. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yep.
Yeah,
Christians don't agree. That's why there's 100 different denominations or more of Christians. There's literally more, isn't there?
40,000.
Of Christians? Holy fuck
Yes.
nugget, bro!
Yeah,
You
yeah.
mean all throughout time or still right now?
Right now, there's denominations of
Well,
denominations.
Still right
really,
now?
it's more because, like
Holy
Joe
Yeah,
said, no
yeah.
two agree.
And that's why, because they define
Yeah,
God into existence the way that they want God to be, and
sure.
they
Well,
weigh
see,
out.
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
Everyone that believes in God creates their own mental version of God anyway. So essentially, everyone does create their own God.
yeah. Everybody
But
creates
then
their
the
own
Christian,
religion.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
well,
if
anyone
you
that
want your
believes in
dog in
God creates
heaven,
their own God through their perception of it.
yeah,
and the
if
times that we see that people do actually believe the same thing ends up being cult things, like in Waco.
Now, check it out. I have a different perception on the cult thing. See, check culture. You can't have culture without cult. Every single culture is saturated in cults. Now, not all cults are negative. You know that there are positive and negative cults. Society is oversaturated in a bunch of different layers of cults. Okay,
Well,
and a cult is
no, you're misusing the definition of what a cult is, though.
well. I might have a different perception of what cult is.
Well,
And that kind
whatever,
of
but
yeah.
I don't see it called as open
the
ended.
the the
It's
accepted the
yeah.
accepted definition of it is what I'm saying, that you're going against there, and
Can
that's
you read
fine.
it?
You do whatever you want. Hey,
Well, can you read the accepted?
can I what?
Can you read the accepted definition of cult?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah,
Let
yeah,
me
read that.
let me pull it up here so I give you the exact words. Uh, oh, oops! I'm using a different computer to do it. So,
But on AI, it says a cult in general terms refers to a group that exhibits excessive devotion to a particular person, idea, or object,
yeah.
often led by a charismatic figure. Wiki says cults are social groups which have unusual and often extreme religious, spiritual, or philosophical beliefs and rituals.
Um,
Extreme devotion to a particular person, object, or a goal is another characteristic.
and the Oxford Dictionary lists it as a system of religious veneration and devotion directed toward a particular figure or object. Um, a relatively small group of people having religious beliefs or practices regarded by others as strange or sinister. And it says a network of Satan worshiping cults. A misplaced or excessive admiration for a particular person or thing, a cult of personality, is what that one's talking about. So, um,
Merriam-Webster also uses unorthodox or spurious.
yeah. So,
And now I would define a cult as any group of people that comes together under a certain given idealism or a shared ideology. Is what I
well,
would describe a cult as
the
personally.
the the most important part of that definition is that it's directed at a particular figure or person, and the religious
Well, it
veneration and devotion.
also said ideology, but you can
I
also
think
have a cult around an ideology separate from
Well,
a main cult leader. You know what I'm saying?
well,
There are different types of cult.
so words have multiple definitions, and whenever you talk about a cult of
Yeah.
personality, that's not a religious cult. That's a different type of cult. Um, a cult of personality is not the same definition, is what I'm saying.
I wasn't talking about that. Well, yeah. I'm
Well,
just giving you my definition of cult.
what you laid out was a cult of personality, is what I'm saying. So,
Okay. Okay,
yeah,
I got you. I got you.
yeah, yeah.
All right.
yeah, the
Um,
Well,
cult
I'm just giving
the
you
cult
my
thing
perception of cult.
would be the extremes, right? It's that when they're telling you to lop off your nuggets or something, right? It's the idea is they go to the extremes. Drink the flavor aid, right? It's going to extremes because the charismatic leader tells you to do so. That's now if the charismatic leader says, "Hey, you know what? We like the Pittsburgh Steelers, but you can still watch the Miami Dolphins," then it's not an extreme. If they're saying, "Look, you can only watch the Pittsburgh Steelers. You can only wear Pittsburgh Steeler clothes. You can only celebrate Pittsburgh Steeler holiday. You know, it's going to the extreme of anything. Always, it seems to lead to trouble in the end.
Well, if you look at what's going on right now in the world, you could easily, like, if you look up some cop channels, you could easily see cops doing brutal things to very innocent people, and you could say, "Hey, that's very extreme." You know what I'm saying? You could say, "Hey, maybe
Don't
the
get me
government is
started
a
on the
cult," just by
popos.
watching some of that.
I don't like the
Well,
popos.
see, that's what I'm saying. So it is a matter of perception, and it is also, in your perception is a reflection of your exact time period, because there are things within past time periods that was perfectly normal at the time, but us looking back on it, we're like, hey, that was culty as fuck, you know.
So
So,
Well,
but
that would
at the
be an
time
extreme, though.
they thought, hey, this is business as usual.
That
so
would be an extreme, though. Like I said, you give somebody the badge and
But
everything, and they're supposed to
what I'm saying
follow
is,
laws, and
you're
they go beyond
yeah,
it, and they go to the extreme. That's what I'm saying.
yeah,
That's the problem.
hold on before you move on. Let me respond to that, because what you
yes,
said
sir.
there is so what is extreme isn't just up to your perception of it. There are social norms and social constructs, and whenever you veer far away from that, that's what's defined as extreme. So it's not just about what you think it is. I know that you have this idea that everything's about perception and stuff, but we so I'll let you respond to that, and then I'll move on to the next part where
Okay.
we hit on
Okay,
solipsism
so
again.
yeah. Well, I would just, well, it seemed like right there you're trying to make it seem like the perception of the individual wasn't as important as the perception of the group, and that is, I would totally say that the perception of the individual is the most important thing about our very existence, and so I would definitely put more emphasis on the perception of the individual. So I would definitely say that that matters. In response to your saying that the perception of the individual isn't as important as the perception of the group.
So let me give you an example here of why I disagree with you. I don't think that individuals' thoughts and feelings are arbitrary. I think that they do matter, but the thing is that, for example, when
Well, I'm saying everything is equally arbitrary. But
yeah,
yeah,
I know,
yeah.
but not all things are. So whenever you look at what's going on in our government right now, the GOP and Donald Trump, they refer to Democrats as the radical left, right? They
Now,
say
I
they're
would like to let the audience know I did not vote for Trump. Okay. But before you guys even start, hey, he's a theist. He must have voted for Trump. No,
uh,
actually, I didn't, motherfuckers.
uh,
Okay, so
that's not where I
just to
was
be
going,
clear,
but
well, no, I know. I was just letting your audience know,
yeah,
because we've talked before, but and I know I've been in your chat for like half a year now, shit. But
yeah.
and I've said it before, but I vote for myself as president every single day of my life. Hey, everyone is the captain of their own fucking ship, and the moment that you say, "Oh, someone else is in control of my life," at that point you're a fucking slave. Is my perception on
Mm.
it? Okay, so but that's my whole perception on the whole presidency thing. Is people need to start taking more accountability for their own world, and stop letting other people control their world as much, is how I feel
Well,
about it.
you can have that, like, I can't tell you that you're not allowed to interpret the world that way, but it's problematic. And back to the radical left thing. Here's the problem, because to
Any radicalism, not just left. Any
well,
radicalism,
no,
not just
I'm
left.
using a specific example so I can explain it to you.
Okay,
So
gotcha.
whenever he refers to them as the radical left, maybe they really do feel like the left is radical because their position is so far away from theirs. So maybe they do feel that way. But then we have to ask the question, is what the left is doing, does it fall under the definition of radical? And if it does or doesn't, haha, if it does or doesn't,
No,
that
you just told on yourself, bro.
yeah, I'm from Kentucky, guys. Come on.
It's in the name, goddamn it.
Yeah, Dutton is a word here. So, uh,
Hey, you know what? I thought y'all was south until I came out here to Arkansas. Y'all ain't got shit on yuns.
oh yeah.
You,
Well,
you know about the yuns?
we use yuns,
I
and
ain't even saying it right. When I first started hearing that, I'm like, what the fuck is going on there?
we don't
I
even
didn't know what
say
they were even trying
yuns.
to say.
we say yins.
Ewan. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I wasn't saying it
Yins.
right. Yeah, it's more like
Yeah.
Ewans or some shit. I don't
Yeah.
know, dude.
Yins,
Like,
and y'all.
I know. Well, y'all, I'm from Florida, and y'all is very common in Florida. But you don't have to say it like a redneck. You can just say it flat, like y'all. You
It
you
originated
don't
here,
gotta
though.
draw it out there.
It originated from this particular dialect, though. I
Oh,
believe.
did it?
I
Okay.
think I'm not positive on that. It just seems like I'd never. Back when I was younger, nobody else outside
We're
of
all
here said
deep
that.
south.
Yeah, but I mean, it's an you all and dropping it into y'all is like But whatever.
Have you ever seen a whole fucking I don't know what they call it, but like when a bunch of alligators get together, it's like a school of them. I don't know what they call it, but I've seen like 30 alligators all together before. Down in Florida, dude, you get used to alligators from a young age. But
Yeah, we
this
don't
one
have
time
those.
was, whoo, dude, alligators can be scary as fuck, man. I don't fuck
I
with
bet
alligators.
we
I'm
don't
sorry
have
that
that. We don't have that here. We have bears. We have snakes.
mountain lion.
Uh, Not really. We have Kentucky Wildcats. But
Oh, really?
yeah. Now they claim there's some mountain lions in Kentucky. I don't know if there actually are or not. I've never seen them, but the I did see some kind
I
of
just
footage of a
recently
black
saw my
bear.
first black bear. I recently saw my first black bear ever, and it
Oh
was
yeah.
running so fast, dude. That motherfucker was so fast. You got no prayer of running from
Oh
a
no,
motherfucking black
no.
bear. Dude, that thing was going as fast as my car. It
Oh
ran
yeah.
across the highway. It went from one wood line across the highway to the other wood line before my fucking car got to that spot where he
If
crossed.
if
I'm
I'm
like,
not
he was going
mistaken,
faster than a deer. I
if
was
I'm
like,
not
holy fuck.
if I'm not mistaken, I think bears can run like 30 miles an hour. Like I
Well, that's what
think
I'm
that
saying. This motherfucker was
yeah,
going like 35, dude. This motherfucker
yeah.
was booking it.
Yeah, and when you run from a bear, it triggers a food response from them, right? So then they see you as prey because you're trying to escape them, and it's different
Yeah.
for different bears. But like,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, I think they say a grizzly run from at all costs because no matter what, it's going to attack you. But
yeah,
some other bears, you want to stand your ground and be noisy, you know?
getting the
And bears don't kill you before they eat you. They just start eating you.
yeah. They just start
Yeah,
eating, bro.
eat you alive.
Let me get that ass.
I like it better wet and screaming.
A big cat, yeah, a big cat will
Hot,
take
wet,
you
and screaming
down.
for me or nothing.
Yeah, they get you from the neck or the head or something, and they put you down, But a bear just knocks you down and starts chawing on you. So
Yeah,
don't mess with the bears. Don't mess with the bears.
How you doing in your life, Dave?
I'm doing good. We were just talking, having some fun here. I'm gonna have to duck off in a little bit to have something to eat before my show.
yeah. I'm only gonna go for like 15 more minutes. That's why I shut down the video. Nobody seemed to be interested in it anyway. We had a whole like 6 and 8 viewers for this stream. My last
Well,
video got
any that
35
we did
views.
have on, they left when I came on. I
Yeah.
probably ran half of them off, didn't I?
Well, I haven't been doing much lately, so nobody's really keeping up with my stuff, and I disappeared.
I usually click on every time I see you.
Well, I disappeared for a while, and I'm just
Hey,
now
you got to take
starting.
a break sometimes. You had a lot of other shit going on too, though, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I get in a funk, and I just don't want to deal with people. Um,
No, I fucking hear you, bro. Shit. I haven't been posting as much recently because I've been working on working and trying to. I just recently got caught up on all my bills on my property, and here soon I'm about to be getting me a work truck finally because I've been driving with no brakes in my car in the mountains for 6 fucking months, dude. And
yeah,
I've only gotten one wreck in that time, just yesterday I had 2 close calls. You know.
I don't even have a car, so you got me beat. uh,
Well, it's either drive a death trap and try to get some money going, or just sit at the house and wait to get evicted. And
oh,
that's
dude,
well, I don't. That's a figure of speech. I don't have a house. I just live in the woods. But
dude,
but as soon as I'm about to have a house, as soon as I get caught up and shit, I'm gonna have a house for this fucking winter. I roughed it last winter, bro. Fuck.
what's up, Robin Webster? There's a link in the chat, or I'll put it up there again if you want to come talk, Robin. But uh, the so like yeah, and I feel you, dude. My last car, I've had cars that I drive with no brakes and barely going, and however I got to do it to get there, like
Yeah, no shit, dude.
so I feel
We're
you.
broke. Sometimes
I've,
you're just broke and you're just trying to fucking get to
yeah,
your damn job to barely get to your job again, Fuck.
I've got I've got $22 to my name. My credit card is $300 in the hole. My Cash App is $175 in the hole. Um, I all of my bills are 2 months behind.
Well,
Yeah,
dude,
so
I just got caught up on my bill. I was 4 months behind over the winter. I just got caught up a couple days ago. I made a triple payment a couple days ago.
yeah. We were watching a video, Robin, but Dane came on and uh, we decided to talk to him. And uh, if nobody seemed to be interested in the video, so
Well, I
I
did
gave up
look
on it.
up out of curiosity, Joe, and there doesn't really seem to be a Bigfoot religion.
Oh, really?
No,
I'll be damned.
not at least
That's a
anything
shame.
that's coming up in any of the,
There's nothing
So,
that's documented.
not big enough to show up on Google. No.
I meant I
Hey,
had.
I
Go
would
ahead.
say those people that believe in Bigfoot without ever seeing them, and they go out there hunting them all the time. Those people are part of the Bigfoot religion, whether they claim it or not.
Yeah,
I
no, I
Because
think
mean
they're out there. A bunch
yeah,
of people like
there's
that.
not really like there's Bigfoot organizations,
worship.
but yeah, there's no Joe
Oh,
was
no.
running through a list
If
of
you
all
believe
kind of
it, and you spend your life out in the woods just looking for it, man, that's a form of
right.
worship, dude. I'm telling
Yeah,
you.
I think.
They can claim it or not, but
Uh,
I claim it for them. Fuck them.
I call it a hobby more than a religion.
I mean, so I think you start to conflate the word obsession with religion, right? Like, um,
Woo! Just like
you know,
Jordan Peterson. Let's go.
yeah.
Uh,
Uh,
I, I got a Jordan Peterson reaction coming up soon for the one he just had.
I know everybody
Screw
has.
that guy. It got me a check mark on
No,
my.
no, but mine's gonna be the best, dude. Mine's gonna be the fucking best. You ain't heard nothing like my shit.
Well,
That,
no,
You know that.
no, I agree, Dane. You're unique, and you should make the video. I'm not telling
yeah.
you not to. I was just joking.
No, no. Well, I gotta hop on the bandwagon. 'Cause personally, I don't like Jubilee. I don't like the format. I don't like how they do
I
the
don't
format.
either. I don't either.
Screw Jubilee. They tried to give me a check mark, bastards.
What's up, Robin?
Hi, Robin. Maybe
We don't hear
I got
you.
no sound.
Oh, there it is. We hear you.
we hear you.
What are you doing, Robin? Well, you had sound for a second. Well,
Checking her
whenever
settings, probably.
whenever you get it figured out, just jump in. Um,
I got a new video for you, Robin. I made a new Bigfoot video for. I play this little video when I get new members, right? So I made this little video, and I
Dave's like, it's a
updated
club, not a religion. Damn it, it's just a
It's-
club.
My new one is animated. The other one was just a still shot, so I animated it. So to see the picture up here for my avatar, that's a still shot from my new animated clip there. So
yeah, I had to look twice. I thought Austin Sims was here.
hey,
It's 420 somewhere. Did you know that hemp, a variety of marijuana, was used to make the first American flags? It has a long history of being versatile resource. Cool. Robin dropped back out. She's not actually here anymore.
yeah, ships ropes. Those big hemp ropes are still hanging over a lot of ponds, and people are swinging off.
Hell yeah. Them things last forever.
They do.
Maybe Robin's connection was bad, and they're gonna try to come back.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Robin a lot of times joins when she's busy doing other things, and so
Okay.
yeah, it happens. But yeah, man, I think I think that your position, Dane, on religion and stuff is I mean, while it's unique as to what you believe, I think that all of them are, though. I mean, I just think that you don't follow a mainstream religion, but you do the exact same thing that other religions do. Is you define what you think religion and God is, and you decide how you weigh out those things, and what you determine is part of your own doctrine and dogma of religion. And it's the same thing they do, really. But
Well, I'll
that's
agree
fine.
with it the same as far as the stuff you just laid out. As far as the stuff you just, I wouldn't accept wholesale. It's the same, but the
No,
stuff you
no,
just laid out right there, I would agree with all that.
and I wasn't trying to say that it was the same that way.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. So
Well, because the thing about me is, I will talk about what I believe, but in no way am I trying to force my beliefs on anyone. I don't give a fuck what y'all believe, but um,
yeah,
I'm not like Christians where I'm trying to convert anyone. I don't, but really, I'm speaking up against the theology of Abraham. I just hang out with atheists, and that's why I'm here talking to y'all. I like to hear atheist arguments, and I like y'all's way of thinking.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
why, to be honest, that's why I hang out with the atheists. And the big difference between me and a lot of other Christians is the Christians are constantly trying to convert y'all, and that shit
yeah,
they're trying to convert everyone. It gets annoying, It's
yeah,
and once they realize that no one there is going to get converted, they leave. That's why they're short term,
yeah,
and that's why I've stuck around is because I'm not trying to convert no one. That's why I've stuck around in all the fucking atheist chats. And I'm accepted in most of them. Some of them don't let me drop my intro.
yeah.
Some of them are racist about my fucking intro, which is I am the brightest night, I am the darkest light, and I am ascending. They don't like that, but
Yeah. Well, I mean, here's the thing,
Demon
Dave.
seed. That's why.
You're aware of my positions on things and how I feel about various things. You and I have
well, there
interacted.
was a couple things I wanted to ask you about whenever you want to get around to it. But go ahead.
If it has to do with the stuff on Facebook, we'll do that behind the scenes.
I don't even know what's going on Facebook.
Well, your and I interaction on Facebook. But
Yeah.
if you have
Okay.
questions if you have questions you want to ask me, you can,
Yeah.
but I may not be able to answer them. I'll tell you that. So you're
Yeah. Well, I did just have some basic questions,
go for it.
but yeah. But me
Yeah.
go for it. Okay. Well, I just wanted to know your orientation. You, you know what do you claim? What's your orientation? I don't know.
One hold on 1 second, guys.
I ran him off. God damn it. What about you, Dave?
As far as what sexuality?
Yeah. I was assuming you were super straight, but I don't want to assume too much.
Yeah, I got a little kinky, but mostly straight.
Well, you usually might just like a pink in your butt every now and then. That's fine. Ain't nothing wrong with pink
I've
in your
been
butt.
I've been
That's what my brother. My,
heterosexually married for 36 years coming up, and
well,
still rocks my boat. So
that's awesome,
although
dude. I never
although
found true love.
although yeah, I've always been pretty open and as far as what anybody else does and all that. It's like, what I do in the bedroom is my business, and what somebody else does in theirs is their business. So
Well, no. Well, the thing is, these days they have all the different classifications and stuff. Like, so apparently I'm demisexual. Are you guys familiar with that one?
oh,
The demisexual one.
Not off the
yeah,
top of my head. I don't know it.
Demisexual means that you only have sex with the person you love very much. But
No.
now, when I was coming up, that was just someone that believed in true love. But apparently, that's demisexual. So that's what I claim. And besides that, is I like to let people know that I'm omnitrans. I can transcend any social construct, which is omnitrans. And
well,
that's
Joe and I were talking the other day that it's like, if we weren't with who we were with, if we were attracted to somebody of the same sex or transgender or whatever it might be, maybe it would work out, because it's a matter of, if you have the attraction or not, right? And
You're attracted to who you're attracted to. Oh,
yeah, I mean, when I first laid eyes on, the future Mrs. Desk, it was just like, oh my good golly, you know what I mean?
no. I really couldn't say because I've never had that.
The smile that, I mean, all
Not
these
everyone's
things.
had that, Dave.
Well, yeah, yeah, I mean, you get that, just wow, I mean, and I still, I get a kiss and it's like, wow, so
That's awesome, bro. Not
it's
everyone's had
there.
that. Just be
Yeah.
grateful.
So if somebody else, with whoever, if they get that same feeling, then I'm like, good for them,
So, so
Yeah.
you want me to tell you my actual position on all this, Dane? That's what we're driving
Well,
at. That's not.
I wasn't asking you your sexuality, your orientation. Yes,
I,
I was trying to
I'm
get personal with you.
I'm a straight cis male,
Okay. Okay.
heterosexual.
But
Me first.
If Joe and I end up single, though, we might hook up.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
I'd lick Dave's ass.
Open open to new experiences. Right. Right, Joe.
Yeah. So here's, I think part of the problem is these labels, right? And people care so much about these labels, and I understand because people are being discriminated against, that they have a useful utility right now. But the thing is people. I think that people should love who they love, and I don't care. Like if you love someone and you want to be good to that person, whether it's sex or anything else, then whatever. Now, as for sex, I don't see any. I don't see that there's any morality surrounding who we have sex with, right? Like, I think that there are immoral acts that you can do, like assaulting people and things like that, of course. But like, I don't.
The non-consensuals, of course.
Right. I think that
Absolutely.
if you're
Yeah.
having consensual sex with someone, it doesn't matter who that person is. Um, like I don't
Or
see it
how
under
many?
those labels. Yeah, I
Or
don't.
how many? Don't leave
I
out the
could care
group thing.
less. And if I was if I was attracted to a man, or a trans person, or a black person, or uh, any person that I'm attracted to, I would accept that I'm attracted to that person and not try to suppress it. But
See,
I'm
me
attracted to who
personally,
I'm attracted to.
yeah, cool, awesome. I was just wondering because just watching, because I've been watching you for a while, and my guess, I was leaning towards that you were bi. Okay, because I'm from
Yeah,
Florida.
yeah.
I'm from Florida, bro, and
I get called gay all the
there's a
time.
lot
It's
of
okay.
there's a lot of bi. No, I wasn't going full on gay. I was just going
I,
with maybe a little bi.
I did just say I
Um,
would lick Dave's ass. So,
I mean, it, open to new experiences, bro.
Well,
Shit.
we were just talking about. I had a lot of exposure to people going to the clubs. There would be a lot, LGBTQ. There would be all the different, goths and vampires, and everybody would come
I
out and
love the goth,
express
bro.
themselves.
Well,
And I
I was
used to
raised,
stand out. I used to
I was
stand
raised
out
in
like
the
a
goth
sore
crowd.
thumb. Yeah,
Yeah.
I stood out as a sore thumb. They took one look at me. They knew I was just a regular straight white guy.
so,
So
so,
yeah.
so,
You get. I guess
I
I
was in
don't
the goth
have.
thing.
Yeah, I've just got the regular guy thing. And a lot of times people say they know me from different places and everything. So I'm like that regular guy. Don't I know you from somewhere? So that's
It's like,
me.
so,
no, that was that other regular ass white guy.
Yeah, I'm that guy over there. I'm a white guy over there.
so
Yeah.
let me expand a little bit related on to the question that you asked me.
Awesome.
So I have a girlfriend that I've been in a relationship for 11 years with. We have kids. I have a family. So I do feel, first of all, I'm attracted to my girlfriend. I love her. Uh, both sexually and uh, in every way I possibly could. She is everything to me in a lot of ways, and my family for that matter. So my girlfriend, I do feel that there's a moral obligation that I am monogamous and in this relationship with her, um, because it is what holds my family together. And at the end of
Yeah.
the day, I'm doing what's best for my family. So even if I was attracted to whatever at this point, I'm not available, right? I'm not
Yeah.
available for those things. But if I was attracted to somebody else, I would have no problem admitting so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you have a very honest relationship with your
Oh
girl.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. You seem like the very like straight up and honest type. You don't got time for shade type deal, which is what I like about you.
She would kick my ass. Yeah, Robin's right. My girlfriend's kind of a badass. She like, well, I'll tell this story sometimes. She beat some bitch up and broke her leg one day, and like, yeah, she's badass. But anyway,
Mrs. Desk don't take no crap. She's had a
yeah,
few times where she's like, "Oh hell no."
my girl, like whenever I get into it with
Not
someone
with
or we
me,
have a,
but
if I have a disagreement with someone, I usually have to pull her off of them or get her out of it, because if they're fucking with me, it pisses her off and she
She'll
tries
throw
to.
down quick.
Yeah, she
She'll
wants to
throw down
start
quick.
throwing hands immediately.
my
That's
favorite
good
story
shit.
is somebody grabbed Mrs. Desk way back in the day in at the bar or something. And she turned around, she put the finger in the chest, and she started saying, "Look, I don't know who you think you are, but you
Yeah.
don't do that kind of stuff, people in public."
And
And just kept backing him up with the finger in the chest. I was like, I love that story.
my girlfriend was in a relationship for 6 years where her boyfriend beat the piss out of her like two men fighting daily,
That's some
in
bullshit,
in
bro.
in
Mm.
public
Yeah.
and in private, and nobody ever knew
God
about
damn.
it. So whenever
God
my
damn.
girlfriend gets mad at somebody and gets in a fight, she doesn't grab some bitch's hair or whatever. She starts throwing fucking hooks and shit. Like she's getting
So
hot.
she got used to fighting a man for a few
Yeah,
years.
yeah, yeah. She
Yeah.
had to fight to survive. So like she's I, me and her have never had a physical thing like that. I've never even called her a name in the 11 years we've been
Yeah.
together. But
Yeah.
um, if I was to grab her up or something, she whoop my ass. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, I ain't trying to do all that. Like, I have health problems, man.
She knows where your pills are too.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. All she had to do is punch me in the sternum, and it's over. Yeah, but anyway, that aside, it's been a long time since any of that's happened because I've kind of separated myself from that life and things whenever I got clean and got away from drugs and all that stuff. So um, we don't really encounter that situation. We purposely live our lives around trying to avoid putting ourselves in positions like that, right?
I did waste 5 years of my life on opiate pills from 20 to 25. And the only time I really did pills after that was when my mom died. Her face rotted off from cancer, and she left
Yeah,
behind 2 pills full of hydros. And I
yeah.
fell off the wagon a little bit for a couple weeks, but I haven't touched them since then, and it's been years. So I definitely have had my multiple years lost to addiction with pills. I didn't do them every day, but I was a weekend warrior, and my doses would have killed most people, dude. You know what I'm
No
saying?
doubt,
Like,
no doubt.
okay, I used to do 8 Roxy 30s all at once. That was my dose. Eight
I've done
Roxy
that, man.
30s all at
We
once.
I used to do 10 at a time,
I only did
but I
10.
was on heroin.
I only did 10 one time, and I'm like, nah, that's too much, man. Like, I started to get worried. I'm like,
For
I knew even 8 was pushing it.
I could barely feel 30s though because I was addicted to heroin. I had like a $300-400 a day
Oh,
heroin habit, so like 30s weren't even
yeah,
touching
yeah.
anything. Yeah.
I,
What's
I
up?
never, I never did actual. I only did pharmaceutical shit.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
know
yeah. Well, I started
there was
there,
only
and
one. There was only one time I did actual street shit, and it was black tar heroin, and it was so
yeah.
fucking nasty, and I didn't like it, and I never did no street shit again. And I'm like, I'm gonna stick to the clean stuff,
So
because the pharmaceutical stuff is clean at least.
yeah. So let's what's up, Pinworm? How you doing? All right. So I so my thing was is I actually got on pharmaceuticals from legally from doctors, and then what happened was where I live is a huge like drug area. It's one of the worst areas in the country for drugs, and
Yeah.
the what happened is all the places stopped giving drugs, and they made all these laws to where you couldn't get them, and 30s disappeared and all that shit, and then to replace
So you
that,
had a
that's
bunch
when
of addicts running around that couldn't get their shit.
heroin replaced it, right? Because then
Oh,
they
heroin
found
blew
out
up. Okay.
that was cheaper, worked better, and you
Yeah.
got more of it. So heroin ended up replacing that, and everybody got strung out on heroin. Then they started adding
Okay.
fentanyl to the mix, and our death rate due to overdose went up 600% in 1 year. And
Yeah.
so that's about the same time I got off of drugs. I overdosed multiple times, and um,
Damn.
yeah, so I understand. That's all I'm saying. I get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, no, I mean, I'm just saying I have been there, but I quit doing pills. I'm still smoking too much weed. So I've been smoking weed since I was 13, and I just turned 40. So it's really fucking my lungs up at this point. So I do need to quit smoking it, and I know that. But I'm still down for some shrooms and some DMT, y'all. What's up? Let's go.
Hey, Pinworm, are you with us now? Still no audio. Oh,
Still trying. Well, hey Joe,
disconnected.
I'm gonna go have something to eat and get ready for my show.
Yeah.
And
All right, bro.
if you can stop by, and Dane, yep, good talking to you as always.
Yeah,
And
I
and
pop on
every
Dave's channel any chance I get.
I see you. I see you. We had
Yeah.
I spoke about you the other day. We had some. I
I've been
covered
working a little bit more here recently,
I
so I
covered
haven't
a
been on quite
short.
as much recently.
Yeah, I covered a short, and the dude was really serious about how everything is God or something like that. And I was like, "Where is Dane? We needed Dane in the chat for that one." So
Yeah.
we did bring you up the other evening. Yes, we did.
Well, I was probably I've been working a lot, so I have been
That's
a
all
little bit
good.
lighter here
It's all
recently.
good, man. It's all
But
good.
yeah, I always stop by y'all's channels, man. You guys are always great fun. Thank you very much, Dave. I
Yep.
appreciate it.
Yep. And
Take it easy, Dave.
all right, we'll talk to y'all later.
Stay
Bye, man.
sexy, bro.
So, yeah, man. So, like, uh, whenever, whenever all that happened here, like, when fentanyl hit, immediately people started just dropping like flies, and it was for years. It was every week somebody I
Up
knew,
here
one of
too.
my friends, was dead. Um,
Yeah,
and
in my area too. That was nationwide, bro.
well,
Nationwide,
it
people have been
was
dying like that.
no. I agree, they have. I was just saying that this is one of the worst drug areas in the country.
No,
So
no, I believe that.
yeah,
Yeah, I believe that the rate is higher. But
yeah,
but
yeah.
believe you me, I know there's been
There.
people a lot around Little Rock. Little Rock was a big area for people dying over
Yeah.
fentanyl,
Oh yeah, yeah,
and I know personally people that was getting shit from Little Rock that they overdosed but didn't die from fentanyl. You know what I'm saying? So I but yeah, I believe that your rate was absolutely higher. But like
well,
where I'm from down in Florida, that down there was one of them ridiculous. You heard about the shit in Florida from back in the early 2000s with the cheap pills, and let me tell you, pills were cheap down there.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, a lot of dope. I was going. So we had. Hold on, let me see. Pinworm, are you here this time? Still can't hear you. So we had something, and there's a documentary about it called the Oxycontin Express. So you could go get a plane to Broward County and back for $99, and that was the
Oh
Oxycontin
shit!
Express plane. So whenever
Oh
you would
what?
go to when you would go to
When
the
was that?
doctor's, um, 2006 through 2010 ish. Um,
Damn, they made some money in those years. Holy fuck!
so so whenever you would go to one of those doctor's offices, you would see everybody you knew from my county, because their parking lot was filled with cars with Kentucky license plates, and they were all from right here, like at all of them. And they made a whole big documentary about it because it was so crazy. And those 30s were called hillbilly heroin. So they were people were going down, they were flying down there and coming back with these huge scripts and stuff, and pills
Yeah,
were everywhere, right?
yeah,
Yeah. But then when they went away, you talk about those doctors offices, their biggest customers were all from right here where I live. So whenever they took that away and they shut all that shit down, 30s almost disappeared, right? There was still
yeah.
other places people were getting them, but not like
No,
Florida.
no, I remember when they shut the 30s down.
and
Yeah,
and that's exactly when heroin filled that gap.
yeah.
When they shut it
Well,
down, that's when it
I
happened.
yeah. Well, shit got more expensive, and I quit around that time. This is
Yeah,
back
30s
in
went
what
to $40 piece.
around 2010 or so, maybe. Yeah, right around 2010. And so
Yeah,
yeah, I moved up here to Arkansas from Florida, and left pills behind me when I did.
yeah,
Until my mom died, I fell off the wagon for a couple weeks.
yeah. Well,
But
I
it's been 8 years, 7 or 8 years now, at least 7 years since I've done any pill whatsoever, and I feel good about that. But I just need to quit smoking the weed so that my lungs are good, because I want to be
yeah,
able to breathe well into my old age. I don't want to get COPD.
I've
That's
had to
one of
take
my worst fears.
I've had to take a break on my weed smoking for the same reason.
Yep.
And my girlfriend's mom just died 2 days after Christmas from cancer. So, and my mom and sister have cancer. So, I feel you on all that. But
Hey, bro. While we're on that subject, then cannabis oil. Okay, get them the cannabis oil, bro. I'm serious. The oil itself, and you eat it like a pill. You don't cook it or nothing. You just squirt the oil into like a little pill and you eat it. And the cannabis oil annihilates cancer cells. I'm telling you, if they got cancer, get them the oil immediately, and I'm sure it'll start fighting it immediately.
well, I don't know. I don't want to. I don't want to say that because I don't think that there's any study that shows that cannabis oil kills cancer or anything kills cancer. So I don't
No,
want to.
no. There is actually the state of Israel, bro. They've been studying it for years, and they've been using it medically for their own people for years.
Well, I don't want to until I can verify that that's true. I don't want to be
Okay,
responsible for giving people medical misinformation,
okay. We'll check it out.
especially about
Anecdotal, right?
something because
Not
hold on.
anecdotal. I gave it to my mom for 3 days. Okay, within
Mm,
3 days of her taking it, her face was rotten off. Okay,
yeah,
and within 3 days, this weird white film popped up all over her open sores. And when I wiped the weird white film away, the aggressive growth had stopped in its tracks. Okay, so
yeah,
so
but
so when you're sitting there saying this is misinformation, no, I
I
actually
didn't
watched
say it
that
was misinformation.
anecdotally. And this is anecdotal, but I'm telling you, with my own eyes, I watched cannabis oil stop cancer in its tracks, and this is like the worst case you could
No,
think
you
of.
didn't. No, you didn't.
Yes, I did. Yes, I did.
No, so what you witnessed was something getting better, but without a medical study to confirm that it was actually the oil that was doing that thing. This could be coincidence. This could just be part of cancer. You don't know any of those things, and
Yeah,
you're saying
yeah,
it's anecdotal, and I'm fine with that.
yeah.
But I'm just
Well,
saying I
I said
don't
it was
want to.
anecdotal. You know.
I don't want to tell people something
Yeah.
that's not true, and medical misinformation something that'll get my channel shut down. So we're gonna skip on past this, and
No.
if
I'm just saying,
yeah,
consider it though. Anyone that has cancer, I'm just saying, when you're down to shit, I'm fucked and nothing's helping, you know, that shit helped my mom. Is all I'm saying, and that
okay,
is anecdotal.
yeah,
And I'm just saying, I'm not
I'm
trying to fuck with your channel, but
yeah.
I did watch that shit help my mom, and
You
the only
think that's
reason
what helped her is would be the correct statement.
yeah, yes, exact,
So look,
yes,
man,
I'm
I
not going
know.
to disagree
So
with you.
so look again. Multiple people in my family have cancer and have been dying. So whenever you come on here and say something like that that I
Yeah,
can't verify through any research, I at least want to see that first because if that is not the case, it it
okay.
it, it
Well,
kind of
hey,
it
check
kind
it
of
out.
pisses me
I
off,
will.
honestly. Like
I will work on getting some research for you,
yeah,
buddy.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
So
I'm not sitting here just talking shit. I'm telling you, I
no,
watched that
no,
shit help
that's
my
fine.
mom. You know.
And I'm open
Yeah.
minded, bro. If you want to
Yeah.
bring sources that confirm that, we will look at them and I'll have that conversation. I
Yeah.
don't care. But
Yeah. This is an
yeah,
ongoing conversation.
yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
will look into it
I'm
for
not
you and
mad
try to
at
find
you.
some. I know your position. You got family
Yeah,
that's afflicted by cancer right now, so it's a
yeah.
touchy situation. Believe me, bro. I get
Well,
it. I
you
watched my
know,
mom's face rot off.
so one of the things that I made early videos about was televangelists pretending to heal people and telling them not to go to the doctor and stuff, right?
Yep.
So
Yep.
that's why with stuff like for me, that's gross and upsetting because my family members are dying from this thing, and these
Well,
motherfuckers are out here.
I never said not to go to the doctor.
No,
Go to the
no, I'm
doctor.
I'm I'm using this
I'm
as
just
an
saying.
example. I'm just
Yeah.
saying, whenever you put something forward, and if it's not true, if there isn't research to back that up, then it's you can see how that would hurt someone's feelings, right?
Well, I'm just letting you know my experience, and if that hurts your experience feelings, then
No,
I
it doesn't.
apologize.
it doesn't.
My whole point was let you know that there is actually hope if you got people going through something. Because from my experience, I watched that shit help my mom.
Well,
And I'm not going to sit here and say otherwise. I'm just telling you
so
my experience.
so I feel like here I'll just be open about it. I feel like that if cannabis oil was curing cancer, that would be something that was everywhere, and it would be the biggest news of the 21st century, of one of the biggest discoveries of mankind ever. So that's why I'm skeptical. I'm a skeptic. That's what I do.
Yeah. No,
So
no, no, I got you. But
yeah,
that perception that you just laid out is assuming that
yes, it
the
is.
government. That's assuming that the government is for us, and because I believe essentially that the government isn't looking out for us. I don't trust the government, is what I'm saying. I
Well,
don't
I just
trust
made a video about
the
how they want us to
pharmaceutical
die.
industry.
So
Yeah.
yeah,
Um,
but whenever it comes to that particular subject, if you want to claim that there's some cabal or conspiracy theory related to suppressing a cure for cancer, then again, I would just, as a skeptic, I just ask that you support that with evidence. That's
it,
my whole gig,
yeah, I
bro.
gotcha. I gotcha. That's
Yeah,
fair
so
enough.
yeah,
That is fair enough. That actually gives me a project to work on in my free
yeah,
time. So thanks for the
and
motivation. That's why I
and
like talking to. That's why I like talking to you people.
yeah, yeah. I
You
mean,
people.
right,
What do you
yeah,
mean, you people?
yeah. But I'm open to looking at anything that you want to bring forward. Now, because of the touchy subject and how upsetting this could be to other people, I want to see that before we go live and talk about it, of course. But
No, no, I got you. I
yeah,
got you. But hey, check it out. It's been I don't know 8 years since my mom died, and I'm doing really good right now talking about it without crying. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I I couldn't have talked about it without crying a couple years ago.
My dad died when I was 11, and it still upsets me when I talk about it. And I'll be
Yeah.
43 in a few weeks. Um,
Yeah. Well, yeah, yeah, yeah.
you know,
Well, that's a tender age to lose your father. If you had a, my dad wasn't around when I was young, and he just finally started to be a dad when my mom died, pretty much. But at
I
least it's never too late to try to be a dad. So I let him. I hear you lost your dad at a young age, man. Yeah, that
yeah.
sucks. Was he a cool dad?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Pinworm, I wish I could help you. If you can get it fixed, you're welcome to say what you got to say. But yeah. So my dad died when I was 11. He was a real bad diabetic, and the last couple years of his life, he was blind, had no feeling in his feet, and suffered to death. He had glaucoma, and eventually
Yeah,
had a
yeah.
stroke that killed him. And
Goddamn.
so it was a difficult thing. Whenever I was like 10 years old, I was pulling up my dad's insulin shots for him because he couldn't see to do it. And my mom worked midnights and had to sleep during the day. So
Yeah,
he taught me how to do it. And I would check his
yeah.
sugar and give him his insulin shots and all that stuff. So yeah, yeah, I was real close with my dad. And it's, um, one of the things is that I realized later um, the effect that my dad had on my life carries on, and the my children, my son looks exactly like my dad, and it's
That's awesome.
so while it's a sad thing that my dad passed away and upsetting and all that, I try to look at the positive side of that and how it's helped to make me who I am today.
Yep.
Yeah, so you know Let's Farm lost his dad when he was 13. He was an alcoholic and died from meningitis. That's awful.
Well,
That's
see
horrible.
that's the part of life that's coming into life. That's just part of it. Is we all die. Everything that's alive dies. That's something we all have to accept and make peace with. And,
Yeah.
and for me, I think that's part of what makes our. Once you really realize that is when you really start living. I don't think you
So
truly start living until you really realize your mortality.
yeah, and so related to this, whenever people talk about angry atheists and stuff, right? So I had a preacher at the pulpit pretending to know what happens when people die and promising
Yeah,
that he would see those people and all these other things.
yeah.
And it all turned out to be bullshit. And because it all turned out to be bullshit, those things are really gross to me looking back on it because I don't hold that belief anymore. So when I reflect back on that, I see those people as awful people, even though they
Yeah.
were trying to do good things or they thought they were doing good things. The way that they did it was incredibly gross because they pretended to know things they didn't know.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Yeah,
Yeah.
I at least admit I don't know, but I don't think anyone can possibly know
No, it's an
what
unfalsifiable
truly the
claim.
fuck is going on. It's unknowable. I think the ultimate truth, the ultimate source of life, is ultimately unknowable anyway. You know,
Yeah.
but you can have conceptions, you can have perceptions, but
So
that's all anything is. But
so I'm going to steal something from JL who was on yesterday, and what he said was he said if your belief in a god is logically consistent, then that means it is falsifiable. So you
Mhm.
have to you need to reconcile what if it is falsified, what if it is debunked, and what does that mean for your life and the beliefs that you hold. All the things that you did in the name of those beliefs and stuff then lose that reasoning and feeling. All the things that you believed and the way that you lived your life surrounding that belief then lose all that. And if you claim a god that is logically consistent, because if it's not logically consistent, then there's nothing to talk about, right? It's bullshit anyway. If you claim a
Yeah,
god that's logically consistent, though, then that god has to be falsifiable in some way. And if it is, then you need to be able to say, what if it's not true, because you admit that you don't know.
yeah.
Yeah, but that's a personal reflection type thing, like that's a sit down and think about the
No, no,
consequences of my
that's not the
beliefs.
first time I've heard that, and that is something that I do is reconcile my perception with the falsifiability, and this isn't the first time I've heard that. I have sat there and thought about the falsifiability within my perception of God.
Yeah. So, uh, yeah, and I think, and again, I never take issue with believers or what they believe. I take issue with what they do with that belief and the harm that it causes others. That's
Yeah.
that's where my focus is. Now, there's some people that they want to debunk religion and all that stuff. Like, I don't spend a lot of time talking about the Bible or the crazy claims of Christianity unless those claims affect others, and that's where I take issue with it. I don't
What
believe
I
any
like
of
to
it's
say to
true, and I
followers,
can support that. But
yeah, what I like to say to followers of Abraham is just disavow the scriptures and their holy books, which justifies harming their fellow man. Is all I want from followers of Abraham. Because if you
yeah,
just take and it's just a handful of scriptures in each of their holy books. If you just take, actually, there's a whole bunch of them in Jewish literature. To be honest, because like I said, I study Jewish stuff too. I go to there's so many justifications for killing people in Jewish literature. It's hilarious. I listen to that shit and I just crack up nonstop. It fucking cracks me up.
yeah,
I,
yeah.
I
No,
got a
no.
sick kind of humor, but no, it is really funny. The more I learn about Jewish religion, it just cracks me up. But the more
Yeah,
I learn about it, also, the more I say, the more reasons I have as to why Yahweh and Jesus and Allah aren't the one true creator.
yeah. Right. No, I feel
Um,
you.
and
And
it's funny. Well, Christians like to say that their perception of the one true creator is unfalsifiable, but that's not true. They like to say that they're omnipotent, that they're what's the three omnis?
omnipotent,
Omniscient.
omniscient, and omnibenevolent.
Yeah. Well, I don't even know why they bring the benevolence into it. As soon as you bring the
Because
benevolence, no. As soon as you bring the benevolence into it, as soon as you do that, you create the problem of evil. If you just leave the benevolence out of it, you no longer have the problem of evil. You dumb fuck Christians.
well, the Bible says that God is all good, and so the so but see, the
You're right.
Christians
You're right. I forget about that. You're
the
right.
the Christians have another problem though, because they're required to do that, because without omnibenevolence, then the things that their God does in the Old Testament are evil and makes him evil, which contradicts him being all good. But also, they believe that because God in the Bible is the objective morality giver, right? So they have to do that because
I have a very
God
strong
is.
argument against subjective morality.
Oh, sure, I do too.
Yeah.
But so because the Bible sets up this objective morality thing, they have to give God that omnibenevolence, which contradicts the other things about God. But like
Yep.
they,
Yep.
I think they have to. That's why they do it.
Well, even in scripture, there are things that contradict the all knowing part.
Oh
There's
yeah,
scriptures that contradict the all knowing. You would not ask. There's scriptures that contradict the omnipresent part when he says, "Let me go down here," and then Christians will pull all their apologetics out, but then they turn around and say, "These right here are the divine words of God." So if they were the divine words of the all knowing God, it would know to make everything perfectly clear. You know what I'm saying? And that
oh
is more
sure,
evidence
yeah. The
that I
problem
use that
problem for the
Yahweh
yeah
is not the one true creator.
yeah the divine hiddenness is what you're getting at. The So are you familiar with divine hiddenness?
Well, I mean, I've heard of that. What I was getting at wasn't quite the divine hiddenness concept in itself, but it is similar. It is divine
It
hiddenness
entails some
adjacent,
of
I
those
would
things
say.
as well. Yeah,
Yeah, it
yeah,
is divine hiddenness adjacent, I would say. Yeah.
yeah. So the whenever you talk about the triomni God, though, within the Bible, especially for the fundamentalists, on the third verse in the very beginning of Genesis, it contradicts God's all-knowing stuff. It does it over and over. So God doesn't know that they ate the apple or the fruit off the tree. He has to ask them. He doesn't know that the serpent is the one that tricked him. Then later he
I
regrets
like
the
that.
flood. And how can he regret the flood if he's all knowing? Because he knew
Exactly.
the outcome before he did it. So how could he regret it? And
Well, check it out. He wouldn't have needed the flood because he would have known to make that. Just means he didn't make it the perfect the first time. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
Yeah. And also with their Ten Commandments, Yahweh breaks every single one of the Ten Commandments.
Yes, immediately. He
Yep.
tells them, "Thou shalt not murder," and 2 pages later tells them to murder everybody all around them.
Well, and not only that, the penalty for breaking every single commandment is to be killed. So thou shalt not murder, and the penalty for breaking thou shalt not murder is to be murdered.
Well,
And
well.
they like to play their little word games and say
So
no, it's killed and not murdered. You know?
So I will play devil's advocate and take up for that a little bit, because actually the way that the Bible says that is
Yeah.
it describes an unjustified killing is what it's talking about. We use murder, and murder is actually a legal term, but the way the Bible describes is an unjustified killing. So if God says the penalty for committing an unjustified killing is killing that person, then that's a justified killing. And if you believe that's
That's
true,
because the Hebrew religion. That's what I'm telling
it's
you. They got
bullshit.
books full. No, I mean it's all about
Yeah.
justifying killing.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. That's
Oh,
why it's
sure.
using that
God
language.
God murders. Yeah.
It's all about justifying killing. They got books full of reasons why it's okay to kill people. You know what I'm saying?
God.
So when you're using that language, yeah, that makes sense because that's how the Hebrews thought. Is because so much murder is justified. You know,
Right.
not all killing was the same to them.
Right. But so whenever God tells them to go kill all the people around them, they say that it's justified because God commanded it and those people were evil. God had his reason to do it, and since God is all good, that means that they were justified in murdering those people. But we can look at whether it was justified or not, right? And was it justified to kill women with unborn children? Was it justified to kill infants and things because God said those people were evil? That doesn't follow. So
Yeah.
that's pretty problematic to that whole thing. But yeah, you're right. God murders throughout the Bible, or commands the murder of millions of people. Him
Oh yeah.
and
Oh
Meta,
yeah.
the friendly
Million.
atheist, does a video where he counts up all the people that die because of God in throughout the Bible, and all the people that die because of Satan. How many people did Satan
Yep.
kill?
It was just a couple. It was just like five. It was 5 to 10 or something.
And it's
And then
not really
God
clear about
kills.
that. Yeah,
Yeah, and God kills like 3 million or so.
yeah, and
So who's the bigger murderer?
and
Uh,
and, and
If
all
you also
knowing.
look in the scripture, God lies more too.
Oh, sure, lie
Yeah,
immediately lies in the very beginning. Starts lying.
yeah,
Yeah,
yep, yep.
Yeah, and
Well,
so
yeah, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I don't ever want to call Yahweh God. I don't, because I do believe
I
in the
feel you.
construct of the one true Creator, but Yahweh is not that. But also the very concept of that, like the followers of Abraham have manipulated. So I internalize it. I don't externalize that divinity. I say we are all divine, inherently. I say there is no sin.
So
I don't believe in the construct of sin.
Robin asked, "Why do you think there is a creator?"
Okay, and I will tell you exactly why I think it. And this is not supposed to be like a proof for y'all personally, but I will tell you why I think
We're
so.
asking what
Um,
you believe. That's it.
okay, okay,
Yeah.
because if there, and I'll start with this, if there was one solid verifiable proof for one single god within the, millions proposed thanks to the Indians, because they got a million just in themselves. you know
Yeah.
if there was one single proof for one single god, we wouldn't even be having this conversation, because everyone would know that's the one true god. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So
Yeah, I
I will
agree.
start the conversation out saying that there is no possible proof. But I will tell you why I believe. I was raised as pagan. I claimed spiritual for a long time. I never, for a second, claimed atheist. Um, but I just started making my own shit up. I do a lot of mushroom trips.
Sure.
Spiritual spirit journeys. You don't do it as a party thing. You will have a bad trip like that. You want to control your environment. If you had a bad feeling, don't do it. Just save it for later. Go out in nature. Don't be in a little enclosed room. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
But so why? Okay, so why I believe essentially in a creator is because, okay, the way I describe it, all my notes got fucked up. I left them out in the rain. So the way I describe it is the fractal singularity omni matrix. Okay, and a fractal is a self-similar, self-replicating shape that expands infinitely. Uh, okay, what is it? Fractal singularity. A singularity is a state of being singular, and an omnimatrix, a matrix. Fuck, I forget the whole definition for that. But a matrix is definitely something in which something can grow. And like I said, I got it all written down really well in my notes, but my notes got all
Yeah,
fucked up.
yeah.
I got to
Well,
rewrite it
I
down
mean,
again.
if we
But
ever want to,
okay. So to answer the question directly, why I believe in a creator is because I am a creator. I see myself creating, and therefore
what
I
have you
know
created?
that there is everything. My whole life, dude. Everything in my life right now, I've created it. My whole everyone
Abstract
creates their own
things.
line.
Yeah. What have you physically created?
Uh, Everyone. Well, I'm talking about my life itself. The
Well,
life I'm living in right now. I create by the decisions I make every single day.
right, but those are abstract things. Those are yes, I agree with you. Create those things. I mean, like,
Okay.
but
Okay. Well, I got something right here for you. All right, you ready for it? I
yeah.
got something right here for you. I got shit all around me that I've created, which is part of the life. All right, check this out. Look.
Well, you didn't create that. You made it out of existing material. You took something that existed and changed its shape into something else.
No, I created it. That's
Well,
alchemy right there, brother. I created it. It's alchemy.
well,
I took one thing and I applied my consciousness and my mind to it, and I slam fucked it, and I worked on it, and I did some things to it, and now looky boogie, look at that shit right there. I got a murder weapon, dude, and I got a bunch of them. I got a whole
yeah.
bunch of fucking murder weapons. I know it doesn't matter how excited I get about it. It is a
Well,
basic look at the trees argument. I realize it's a basic look at the
I've seen
tree
a
argument,
video of
okay,
you
but
swinging that thing around. I've seen it. Um, the
and then okay, and then some more things I've created. Okay, check this out. My doggies.
You didn't create
I
those,
created
dude.
all.
No.
I created them, bro. Oh yeah, I created them.
Well, see, here's the problem, Dane. Here's the problem that we have when we talk about what you believe, is that you use different meanings of words than anybody else would ever understand unless you tell them how you're using those words. And so it's fine that you do that. I have no problem with it, other than when we're trying to have a conversation, and when I ask a question, you understand that I'm using a different definition than the one that you've made up to use for it. So in a way, your responses are kind of dishonest.
No, no, not at all. Well, for one, you're assuming that I know exactly the exact definition that you think about everything,
You know
and
that
it's been.
yours is different.
What I'm saying is, okay, I know you go around watching all kinds of theology stuff. You watch a lot of Alex O'Connor and shit, right?
No.
Or no? Or what?
I
No?
In the past I've watched some Alex O'Connor. I don't anymore. I watch very little atheist stuff.
What I'm just saying is it is very common in theology and philosophy conversations for participants to ask each other exactly what they mean by certain words. And you know, Jordan Peterson is a bad example of this, because I think he does that disingenuously with
Yeah.
intent to convolute a conversation. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? But
So
just
so
because he uses it that way doesn't mean that everyone uses it that way. You know what I'm
so
saying? Like,
so here's the issue though.
so,
When when
no, hold on. You said I was being dishonest, and the thing
I
is, I'm the most
no
honest motherfucker you know.
don't
Like, I'm just being
no no no
myself,
no no
dude.
no no. You're misunderstanding what I'm saying when I say it's dishonest. I'm not saying that you're lying or trying to purposely deceive me. I'm saying that you don't you at least have the understanding that I may not that the accepted definitions of these words are different. Whether you know exactly what they are or not, you know that you've defined them a different way than everybody else. And so,
What I know is that everyone defines words with the relationship that they have to it in their own unique way. Everyone defines words in their own way, which is
but
why that it is so frequent for philosophers to ask each other what they mean by certain words that should be common. You know,
well,
because that goes back to prove my point. I think that everyone is their own God and creating their own
yeah,
reality.
yeah, but
Because
we have accepted definitions though. We have
no, I'm agreeing with that. I'm agreeing that there are accepted definitions. Now, but when you say creating, and now that is one of them words where you can use it flexibly, and you can say, no, I'm not saying I created the fucking atoms. I'm not saying I created
who created the
the atoms
universe?
for that stuff.
Who created the universe?
I don't know, don't care. You know, as
Okay,
far as that goes,
okay. I mean, I
don't know, don't care.
I mean,
Well,
because that was
I'm worried
obviously the
about my
question.
universe.
So whenever somebody asks you, why do you believe in a creator, or what do you,
Yes.
who is this creator, you understand that they're asking not, can you create things out of stuff that already exists. They're asking you, who is this prime mover responsible for creating the reality that we live in. That's what that question entails.
I have always said that there is no one single name that can encapsulate the one true creator. I don't believe that anyone that says that there is one single name that can encapsulate the one true creator has just named something that is not the one true creator. There is no name that can encapsulate it.
So
Is what I believe about
do,
that.
do you accept the age of the universe as 13.8, 14 billion years old? Do you accept that?
Um, okay, check this out. I have a unique perception on that because I follow science to come to my conclusions. Okay,
Yeah.
I really do, and I know you hear that from Christians a lot, but
Kent
when
Hovind says
Christians
that
go,
and then immediately starts talking about the Loch Ness monster.
I'm saying some of my theories aren't science confirmed yet. I do have some theories, but I will come out and say that's a theory. That's not like dogma or anything, you
Listen,
know. And I've
Dane.
told you that.
Listen, Dane. When I ask these hard questions about the
Yeah.
things that you believe in stuff, I'm not trying to attack you or your belief. It's just I'm being blunt and asking the questions that need to
No,
be
no,
answered.
I'm
Yeah,
here to talk about it. Yeah,
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
here to
So,
talk about it.
well, I just don't
Raw
want you
dog
to
me,
feel
daddy.
like
Let's go.
I don't want you to feel like I'm being mean to you. Is all, because I'm not.
No, I don't. I always thought we had a good
Yeah,
rapport, you know.
yeah,
So,
yeah, Dane. I
and
think you've said
even
some
if you hurt my little
problematic
girl's
things
feelings,
that
I deal with it.
yeah, you've said some problematic things that I don't really care for. But with you, I kind of look at it as you've said those things because it's your understanding of it, but you're willing to listen to know better. And if there's a chance for somebody to learn and understand things better, I don't want to take that. I'm not going to be the one to take that chance away from that. And I'm willing to, if you're not, if you're not getting into things that are going to hurt others and are harmful and bigoted things and all that shit, like if you're not just spouting off stuff like that, but it seems to be more of a misunderstanding of those things, I want to give you the chance to understand those things before I'm like, fuck this shit, right? So I'm not adversarial with you. I'm trying to understand your position, and
Yeah.
doing so, though, some of the things you say I have to push back against because I understand them to be different, right? So
Yeah.
it's not an
Well,
attack.
I didn't come here to be agreed with. God damn it.
Well, I understand that. I'm just letting you know because this conversation, like if I'm going to tell you you're flat out wrong about things, it's not because I'm attacking you. It's
Oh
because
no,
I'm
no, no,
trying
no, I
to.
got you, homie. Well, see, the thing is, I love exploring other people's perception,
Sure, sure.
and I love I love it that you give me your honest, straight up perception,
Well,
but a point you brought up, I think you may have misunderstood my intentions with some stuff that I post.
yeah,
Sometimes, you know what I'm saying?
yeah.
I do think that sometimes you misunderstand my intentions, and let me assure you, there's nothing. What do they call it? Antagonistic or what do they no
Malicious,
what do they call it malicious. Yeah, there's
malicious.
nothing malicious about it. Yeah, there's nothing
I,
malicious about it.
I
Yeah.
I get that from you, Dane, and that's why we continue to talk because
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
that
Like I don't want to bring up my last post what we were talking about right now because we got better shit to talk about. But sometime in private we'll talk about that.
well,
And I'll explain to you what I was talking about because
yeah,
I think
yeah,
you misunderstood that.
probably.
Uh,
Well, Dane, here's the thing.
and it's just because you're used to the people that have done stuff already, and they have misused certain things. So I understand that.
Here's the thing, Dane. Even like from from the first time that you sent me a message and a link to your channel and stuff, and I went and checked out your stuff and all that stuff. I seen that you have troubles and things in your life just as anybody else, but I can relate to some of the things that you're going through, and so even if that was the case, Dana, I'm a humanist. I'm concerned about your well being, and so uh, I want to I want to be able to have the conversations to better understand you. Um, so that I'm not misplacing that, right? And I care
Yeah,
about you and I care about the well-being of others and stuff. And so
I appreciate it, man,
yeah.
and
So
likewise, right back at you, dude.
I'm never coming from a place of hate. Again, my audience gets on to me for being too nice to people. But that being said, so
But push back, it's all right.
yeah, yeah. So that being said, your position on a creator, a prime mover creator, is that you don't know, and that's fine. That's an honest answer. Um, what you
Okay. To be clear, I do say that there must, but I have a different conception of what the one true creator is. But I do believe in the construct of the one true creator. But now I don't believe that I don't believe in the creation story of Christianity whatsoever. I don't even, and it's all science based for me, so it's open to new information that comes in. But right now, I'm at the point where I don't think that the universe was ever created all at once. I think it's
I don't either.
eternal, and it always has been.
Yeah,
I think it is eternal, and it always has been, and it just recycles the
but
energy
then
within itself.
but then what do
You
you
know.
mean by one true creator then?
Okay. We'll check it out. That is well, yeah, I mean something totally different by it than what you're used to, you know.
Right, right. That's why
So
I'm
so
asking.
yeah, I do mean something totally different by it. So I believe that there is a prime, a primordial intelligence, individual, and consciousness, and I think that consciousness is the link which links all consciousness throughout all time. But it's not something that's separate from you. It is a big difference in my perception of it than followers of Abraham,
Can
because to them it's all separate from you.
can this creator interact with the natural world?
Well, I would say it is not separate from the natural world because I don't believe in anything supernatural. I don't believe in supernatural. Anything that happens is natural, and even if you can't, even if you don't have a current good naturalistic explanation yet doesn't mean it's not natural. You see what I'm
So
saying? I don't
so
believe in supernatural anything.
so this one true creator is part of everything then.
Yes, kind of like omniism or
Pantheism.
uh, kind of like omniism, pantheism ish. Yeah, but it is it is within all the molecules, all the atoms. It's just like, and it's a totally indifferent, just facilitating force of life and consciousness. It is totally indifferent. That there is no good or bad. It's just if you look at nature, Mother Nature will tell you all you need to know about the Father Creator, which is it is voracious and cannibalistic, and life feeds on life. That tells you all you need to
But
know
but
about creation itself.
but so those the the things that you describe about nature, uh, where does the creator fit into that? Is where what I'm trying to figure out. Like, what is the creator's
Well, see,
role in that?
what do you mean nature?
Yeah, you said that nature will show you that. Well, I'm very familiar with nature, a lot of nature,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I don't see any evidence of any creator in that. So I'm asking you. You say that the creator is part of nature, and I'm saying where does it fit into to those details of nature that you laid out? Like, uh, where does the creator? Where is that creator operating in there? Because I think what you're describing is supernatural.
No. Well, I mean, it's not supernatural to me. I mean, you can perceive it as supernatural if you like, but I don't see it as supernatural. But
Okay.
um, I really don't. Like I said, I lost all my notes, but let me see if I can remember. There is 4 attributes that I use to even describe my perception of the one true creator, what some would call God. I like the collective cosmic consciousness as a best descriptive for it. But it is unity and balance. Okay, unity and balance, and you have consciousness, you have dark, and you have light. Those are the 4 attributes I like to use that prove. It's not a proof. Those are the 4 attributes I like to use as evidence for confirming my perception of the one true creator. Because you can prove an overall balance and unity within creation. You can prove consciousness. You can prove dark, and you can prove light.
Well,
Just
before you can prove
basically on a
those things
scientific
in
level.
But before you can prove those things in creation, you need to prove that it was created, and you don't seem to
See,
hold that
once
it was
again,
created.
yeah,
You
yeah.
describe you just
Okay,
hold
I
on,
am
hold
using
on,
the
hold
word.
on. Let me just finish
Okay,
the sentence. You
yes,
describe
sir.
a one true creator, but you've yet to name anything that creator has created.
Well, I am kind of using that term as like a colloquialism, to be understood b- by to the general masses. That's just a word. The one true
So
creator is just one way to describe it. That's not like the only or the
okay,
necessary way to describe
well
it. That is just a way to describe
if
it.
you're describing it as a creator, though, what has it created?
Like I'm saying, it is alchemy. Okay, because like I don't believe that anything has been truly like created. But although I believe everything comes from nothing essentially. Yeah, well, I do believe in contradiction. I believe in paradox and contradiction. Okay, we will start there, and that'll be a whole can of worms in itself. But I do believe in paradox and contradiction, and there are a couple arguments that I have to support those perceptions. Basically, I think that all of creation is built on paradox and contradiction.
So you think it's possible for a paradox to exist?
Do what?
You think paradoxes exist, like in the
Yes,
natural world? So,
yes,
like,
yes.
you can have a married bachelor.
I'm not saying all paradoxes exist, but
Well,
I'm
I'm
well.
just
Actually, yeah. Well, I mean, you could totally have a married bachelor, bro.
well.
Yeah,
I think
I know. I've known some people that was married bachelors, bro. Like it depends on how you're defining it, of course. Like I'm saying, a married bachelor. Yeah, so I know some people that was married, but they acted like bachelors. You know what I'm saying?
so. So
So
the laws.
there is a way to look at that to where that statement could be true,
No,
but
it's a
check it
contradiction.
out.
It's
Well,
it's
there are ways to look at that where that's that particular. I'm not saying all examples. I'm not saying all examples that you throw out of contradiction can be observed, but a married bachelor can absolutely be observed.
no, it's a contradiction. You
Oh yeah.
can't.
Oh yeah.
How can a bachelor be married? They're not a bachelor anymore.
Go, go down to Florida, you'll find them all
Well,
over the place. Married
okay, so
bachelors, bro.
right, you're not taking it seriously at this point, though. Like,
No. Well, brother, okay, check it out. Like I said, for this particular example, I can think of things that, yeah. Now you can come up with other examples where I will concede that no, I can't think of anything that would support that. But for this particular one, I can absolutely think of something. But see, the thing is that doesn't make or break my case at all, because there I can
no,
absolutely point out contradictions and paradoxes that do exist. You know.
please do.
So I don't have to point out.
Give me a
So
paradox that exists in the natural world.
okay, that would be. I'll just hit you with my strongest one right off the bat, which is the Gödel's incompleteness theorems. That there are two of them.
What?
Gödel's incompleteness theorems. Like once again, okay, I'm gonna have to paraphrase. I don't have my notes with me.
Sure.
Okay, so I'm gonna be paraphrasing it. Okay, there's two of them, and they pretty much just kind of restate each other. But and now that you can look this up, this was people try to prove him wrong for years and years and years, and all they did was ever prove him right. But he said that pretty much a system of arithmetic that is based on certain axioms um, to cannot be proven by those proven by those axioms. And the second one leaned more into the contradiction, where it said that it's pretty much impossible for a system of arithmetic to be free of contradiction. And you know, you can look that up a little bit in yourself and tell me what you think about that. That is one that I like to use. That is not the only
But
one,
okay,
but that
that's not a paradox in the natural world, though.
okay, well, that is based. Okay, they say numbers are the language of the universe. Everything can be reduced down to numbers, and so that's where I find the paradox and contradiction in it. So they
What
say numbers are
what are
do what?
numbers? What are numbers?
Those are all mental constructs. Those are all
Right.
mental constructs
They're
of
abstract
math.
constructs that we use
Yeah.
to do math and explain things, and we have a language and everything that goes along with that
Okay.
we
Okay.
use,
Okay.
and all
Okay.
those
Well, that
things.
brings me to my second one. All
Yeah.
right. I'll go to my second one, which is the Heisenberg uncertainty principle, which says that you can't know the exact position and velocity of a particle, and that's not because of the lack of precision of the equipment. That is because of the quantum state of the particle.
Superposition. Right. So
And
so
yeah,
so but that's not so the problem there is that it's not a paradox at all or a contradiction there. So whenever we talk about like the double slit experiment, right, and what
I wasn't talking about the double slit exactly with this,
that's what
but
that's about, though. Like
well,
the
that is the double slit is an experiment which proves the duality nature of particles, but
it solves the
but
problem you just described, though, is what I'm saying. so
all
so
right, lay it out. How to?
so the double slit experiment, I'm not going to go through the whole thing. I'll shorten it. But
Yeah, yeah.
what we found out through the double slit experiment is that um, we couldn't, depending on if we were observing or not, we couldn't determine whether that photon was a wave or a particle, and the um, the uncertainty principle supports that, and then what they came up with from that, though, is they had watched the interference pattern occur on the wall even whenever they seen it going through as particles on the other side. But whenever they went and watched them come through the slits on the other side, they didn't make that interference pattern, even following the same actions. And what they believe is that the act of observing them, their equipment or something, the way that they observe them, uh,
Well,
is
yeah. Well, even if the
somehow.
equipment observed them, it still did it. Even if they weren't watching them personally, and it was just the equipment, it still did it. Yeah.
It's not a thing that says that it's because a person observed them. They think that the way that they observed them had some effect on it.
Okay. Well, check this out.
And
Just
it
the
is
fact
about
that
observing, Robin, what we're talking about.
just the effect. Well, but with that experiment, it happened even if there wasn't a person directly there. If it was just a camera on it with no person directly there, even if no one was directly watching it right away, even if it's just being recorded with no one directly watching it, it would still do it. You see what I'm saying? So
Well,
it didn't even
you
require.
you you don't observe electrons with a camera. So there wasn't a person. There was equipment, and then they
Yep.
looked at the data from it, right?
Yep. Yep.
But whenever they were able to observe the electrons coming through the slits, it no longer
Okay.
made an
Well,
interference pattern.
I got you. Well, I got one for you. Hold on. The very fact that particle it, it is and can be or it can be a wave or a particle at the same time, at any time, all the time, and that's what all of reality is based off of. I think that actually does prove a bit of paradox and contradiction built into the fabric of reality.
So here's the thing, and no, that's not what I'm talking about, Robin. The so here's the thing, though. Whenever you talk about the uncertainty principle, which you brought up, and then trying to say that it was a paradox, when in fact that experiment supports the uncertainty principle, because what we were able to observe there is superposition, right? That it's literally called the observer effect, Robin. That I mean, like I don't know how else to say it. The
Yeah.
Whenever so whenever we talk about superposition, so if that particle isn't here, then where is it? And how do you know where it'll be? So the uncertainty principle gives credence to the idea that particle, while it's more likely to be in some areas than others, it could be anywhere, and you're uncertain of exactly where it is. But that doesn't mean that it's just as likely to be anywhere at all times, because that part's not true. Um, Depending on the situation, I guess it's more likely to be in certain places than others, and they can give percentages and stuff for that. So there is no paradox or contradiction there at all. Um, Here's the thing: if you want to claim that paradoxes exist in the natural world, then that means that you don't accept the laws of logic, right? So the laws.
I think that you can find paradox within logic. Yes, actually. So
No, within abstract things, you can create paradoxes in your mind, but they can't exist in the natural world because they are paradoxes.
you just brought logic up, and all logic is abstract things. That's your subjective
No,
perception. That's all logic is.
no, logic is not abstract things. What logic is it's the tools that we can use to determine whether things are rational, possible. They
But it's not a physical. It's not a physical tool. Is what I'm
Yes,
getting at. It's a mental tool.
physical.
It's abstract.
No,
Everything in the mind is abstract.
right. The
Everything in the mind is subjective.
the
So
laws
it
of
is. It is a subjective tool.
the laws of logic themselves are not physical things. And here's the thing, and me and you have had to get into.
Oh, well, I like getting into
That's
it with you.
exactly what I said, Robin. I didn't say the part about measuring. I said the first part because that's what we were talking about.
Hey, six
Um,
inches, and it's a high quality 6 inches. If they're wondering.
Whenever you're talking about measuring and I'm talking about observing, that's the I'm sorry I didn't say the second part, but I'm talking about the exact same thing. The observer effect entails that the thing they were measuring, though, was just observing them going through. That's yeah.
So
So
we
we're
can
in
agree that,
agreement, Robin. Sorry for the misunderstanding.
but but
The
but but we do agree in the duality of a particle and a wave, though, right? Do we agree on that exists or not?
What do you mean
The likelihood of that
it is a
existing.
particle and a wave?
Do we agree that of the likelihood of the theory? Because once again, these are just theories too, But do we agree on the
Oh,
likelihood that a
about
particle can both be a particle and a wave
hold on,
simultaneously? The
hold on,
duality.
hold
Do,
on,
do you believe in the inherent
hold
duality?
on, honey.
Okay.
So here's the thing. Whenever you say it's just a theory, do you understand what a scientific theory means?
Yes. Yeah. Yes. I realize that. Yes. Yes.
So
I wasn't belittling it, but I am saying all theories are still theories, no matter how proven they are. Could you agree that something could happen that could change the theory, and all of a sudden you have a different theory?
you
Do
can
do you agree that theories
so
can change?
the theory of evolution, for example, is refined all the time. It doesn't change
That,
into something completely
that,
different, and no theory does. It doesn't change into a
no, no,
completely
no, no,
different
no,
thing,
no, no,
but
no,
it gets
no, no.
refined over time.
Theories have changed. There have been wrong theories that have been thought to be true and held as true for a long time that were disproven later. You know what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? So,
Yes, but
just
the
because something's
facts
a theory
concerning
doesn't mean it's a law.
no, because laws and theories aren't the same thing. They don't do the same
Yeah, that's
thing.
what I'm saying.
A
That's what I'm
theory
saying.
can
Just because
never
something's a theory doesn't mean it's a law.
no, a theory can never be a law because that's not what laws
That's what
are.
I'm saying. But
That
people treat theories as like you're kind of treating a theory right now as I'm not saying but you're kind of treating it like a law a little bit when you're
no,
saying, you know,
because you let me explain the definitions of these things real
okay,
quick because that's the
let's go.
problem. So whenever we talk about a theory, you're talking about a well substantiated set of facts, right? And and within a theory is the gold standard in science, and every time they have observed it, it is held true, and therefore theories are contain facts, right? So there's the theory of evolution and there's a fact of evolution. It is a fact that evolution occurs. The theory of evolution, though, and we have observed it. That's how we know it's a fact. So, but whenever we apply that to all of life, we haven't observed it in every bit of life, but we know how it works and we see the outcomes. And every time we look, it holds true. A theory is based on facts and is true. For it to become a theory, it is a true thing. Now, whenever we talk about laws, laws are the things that govern nature. They're not the theory of
Okay,
evolution operates within the
the only law
laws.
I believe in are the actual laws of nature. I just wanted to state for the record that is the only true law. Like
But
when they say a law for a nation, those aren't true laws. Those are just rules and regulations.
the laws of nature, if you support the laws of nature, then a paradox cannot exist in the natural world. If you
What
support the laws of
what
logic, a paradox can't
what
exist.
law says that? What law says that?
Well, the because a paradox is a thing that is logically contradictory, right? And it goes back to the laws of nature follow the laws of logic. So you get into um again the married bachelor thing. You get into like the laws of identity where and it's the same thing with the God you describe being everywhere and everything. Um, that violates the laws of identity. So then you say you support the laws of nature. The laws of logic are part of that. The laws of logic apply to the natural world as well. The laws of like you said, they're abstract. The idea of the law itself is abstract, but it applies to the natural world, and so do the laws of nature in the exact same way. So
But also all these laws are also just theories. These are
no,
just a way of perceiving.
no. So the thing with laws is the laws describe the way that our reality functions, right? They're uh, um, they
You mean I can't fly? Don't tell me now.
that's okay. So that would violate things to do with like if you're talking about sprout wings and fly. I mean, then you're
I
violating.
that was a troll comment. My bad, bro.
Yeah.
That was just a mini troll comment.
So here's the thing with like again with like evolution or something. It's a
I'm well
theory.
aware my fat ass can't fly.
Right.
I've tried.
It's a theory. With enough drugs, you can think you can. with a theory, it's well substantiated and it's corroborated and it's repeatable, and that's the thing is, and every time we
No,
repeat it,
yeah. No, I realize that. Yeah.
so
It-
we call it a theory, which we shouldn't have done because it conflates it with the colloquial version of theory, which just means I think something is that, and that's not what theories are. Theories are proven every time they're substantiated, right?
yeah.
So
Yep. Yep.
science though doesn't operate in absolutes, so you can't say that a theory is something that holds true every single time. But when we observe it and every time we experiment with it, it does hold true, and we cannot find anything that contradicts it. And in some cases, like with evolution, um, if we threw out evolution, then all of our other theories and laws are completely wrong too, right?
Hey, I'm down with
And
evolution, brother. I'm not bad. I
no, I'm
never
just
once
using it as
bad.
an
I
example.
believe in evolution.
Yeah, yeah.
Well,
It's just
I
something I
just,
talk about a lot,
for
so
the
I'm
people
using it as an
watching,
example.
I am not. Yeah, for the people watching, I am not an early creationist, or I believe in evolution.
So with theories, there is no sufficient evidence to contradict those theories, and that's the thing. It is
Yeah.
true in
It-
every case
it-
that
it-
you observe.
it- yes, sir. No, I got you there.
So when you say it's just a theory, it's theories are true unless you hold some kind of evidence to contradict that. And if you hold some kind of evidence to contradict a theory, then you need to put that forward because you're going to get a Nobel Prize for it.
Yep. No, I
So
hear you.
so whenever it comes to those things, we accept science. And when we talk about the laws of logic, this drives back to the idea of solipsism, right? That we're just a brain in a jar, and all we know for sure is that I am. So whenever we start talking about the laws of logic, though, we make some basic presuppositions that we are in this reality together, we can interact with each other, and the laws of logic are true. Those are the basic presuppositions.
Well,
Pretty much.
people make presuppositions, all day long, every moment.
Yeah,
Our
right.
world is full of presuppositions,
Some
but
presuppositions are bad, but not all presuppositions are bad.
yeah, and not all presuppositions are equal. I understand that.
Yeah, yeah.
You have different levels of everything. I believe in that. There's, I call it meta levels incorporated into everything, which is part of the fractal nature of everything.
You keep so and again, I'm not being mad, but I feel like you keep word salad in me with all this stuff. Like you throw in this
Well,
fractal thing about nature, which what do you mean by that?
what I mean by that is within nature. Okay, like the growth pattern of mycelium. I'm just going to list you some examples of the fractal growth pattern. So you got the root structure, you got lightning, you got riverbeds, you got coastlines, you got
So
veins,
okay.
you got branches. These are all examples within nature of fractal growth pattern.
So describe to me, because you said it earlier, describe to me again the definition of a fractal.
A fractal is a self similar repeating shape or design.
That you left out a word this time. Because last time
What
you
was
said
it?
it went on infinitely.
Uh,
You said a fractal repeats infinitely, which
yeah, yeah,
it is correct
yeah.
within math, because a
Yeah, yeah.
fractal is an idea. It's not, it's a construct that
Well, yeah, I do believe it. Just that growth pattern is repeating infinitely. I do believe that, but I think that you don't even have to use the word infinitely for that definition to be valid. So
well
you could leave out the
so
infinitely part if you wanted.
so a fractal is a mathematical thing, okay, and it does go on infinitely, and but only within math. Fractals don't exist in the natural world because uh, that mycelium and all that other stuff, it
Yeah.
doesn't go on infinitely. It just looks like the pictures of fractals, and you're calling it that.
No. What I'm saying is, I'm not saying that the mycelium itself, or I'm not saying the leaf itself is repeating infinitely. I'm saying that growth pattern on which they are based is repeating infinitely all throughout nature.
Oh, okay, so when we're talking about nature, why did you insert the word fractal into there? Because it had nothing to do with what we're talking about.
Well, like I just said, is fractals are repeating all throughout nature, and you just said, why did you?
We were talking
Okay,
about presuppositions for the laws of logic, and why we make those presuppositions. Some are good or some are bad, and then you said the fractal nature of this and that, and it's like, why
yeah.
did you insert that in there? It has nothing to do with it.
Well, I think, yeah, what we just explained, what we just talked about, explains what it has to do with it. But anyway, you're acting like I can't. I'm just expressing my perception. It's not. And you said word salad, and that's a common word I get is word salad. But if you
Well,
look up the definition of word salad, it is words that are incoherent and don't mean anything, and aren't trying to get it anywhere. But I am using these words to try to get somewhere. Actually,
no, and that's how I'm using it, because the words that you used had nothing to do with what we were talking about, and they were inserted to.
from your perception, I did just explain what they had to do with it, but I can explain it again because we were talking about
Well,
nature, right?
you explained the fractal
Fractal,
thing, but I don't know why you described it that way with those words. You inserted a bunch of words in between
because
nature
because that's my perception. I was just giving my
okay.
perception as we go.
Oh,
You're allowed to give your perception.
and again,
I'm allowed to
Dane,
give my perception.
when I say word salad, I'm using it as as talking about fallacious things that you're saying, or unnecessary things that you're saying, and I'm not attacking you or being mean to you. When you say things, I'm trying to explain what you
I am
mean.
having good faith conversations. Like
Yeah,
I am having good faith conversations.
yeah. I'm just trying to understand what you mean when you say those things, and why you say them
Okay.
at the times you do. That was
Well,
it. It's not a
I'm allowed to bring out my delirium. Look at the name right there, Dark
you.
Light Delirium.
Yeah, you
That's
and look, Dane, you can believe that we all were shit out of unicorns' asses, like 10 years ago. Like, you can believe anything you want. You and I have talked, though, and I was trying to better
yeah,
understand that belief, because you make
yeah,
a lot of comments in the comments on my Facebook and everywhere else on YouTube about what your
yeah,
belief is. So I'm trying to better understand what that thing is that you believe.
yeah.
That's
Well,
all.
hey, believe me, brother. If I can make it out to the Ark protest and hang out with y'all, I will. I'll
Yeah,
be out there with y'all protesting that shit.
yeah. Yeah, so
Eh,
yeah, and we can wrap this up and continue on another time, Dane. Uh,
well,
I've been
I appreciate your time, brother. Thanks for having me on.
yeah. I've been on here for 3 hours and 16 minutes now.
I I
Um,
know we went on longer for what you intended anyway.
yeah. But anyway, today I was looking at a list of religious beliefs that people have, and you showed up with one that wasn't on the list, and so we ended up talking about that one. But
Yeah. Well,
anyway,
thank you for having me on, sir. I appreciate it, man.
yeah,
Hey, I love you, brother. No shade whatsoever. I
yeah.
love you guys. That's why I like to talk to you guys. You guys ask questions that I can't find anywhere else.
Well, like I said, Dane, I care about you, and sometimes when you say things, I'm concerned about you. So that's, I'm glad that we got to talk and understand
Well,
each
I
other.
haven't killed no one yet. If that makes you
Well,
feel any better, I haven't killed no one yet.
well, please don't.
Eh, eh,
Um,
do we count abortion?
no,
Okay, well then I had 2 abortions, so we're good. I just paid for him though. The doctor did the deed. I just paid for him.
Jesus Christ. I can't believe that.
I just funded the murder. God damn it!
Do you ever
The
have
blood's on
those
the doctor's
moments?
hand.
Do you ever have those moments where you're like, "This is where the fuck my life ended up"?
No, no, bro, dude, I love it. What are you talking about? I'm
I'm
surrounded
not.
by dogs. I'm out
I'm
in the
not
fucking
mad.
woods. I
I'm
do
not
what I
mad.
want when I want. What are you talking about? What the moments I have is, God damn, look at me. I'm alive. I'm happy. I used to be depressed as fuck all the time. Now I'm happy all the time. What are you talking about?
Uh, Thanks for giving me a laugh, Dane. That was funny.
No. Hey, I love you, brother. I hope you have a good
Yeah,
day.
yeah,
I
man.
really
Yeah.
do.
I'm gonna kick you out and say bye to everybody, and we'll pick up another
All
time.
right.
All right.
Hey, if you ever want me gone, you just say fuck off, Dan. I don't want you on my channel, just like Chris did, and I'll never come on again.
Yeah, Dane, if you cause me any problems, I tell my mods to ban the fuck out of everybody. So don't
Yeah,
worry about that.
yeah. Well, and it's not my intent to cause problems. It's really not, But I have been banned just for having a different perception, even though I was being respectful in different
Yeah,
rooms. You know what I'm saying?
I try to provide a space where people can come and talk about these things and not feel like they're being attacked or
Yeah.
judged and all that stuff. And as
No,
long
no.
as you're
I
not doing
appreciate the
those
question.
things, yeah, as long as you're not doing those things, you're welcome.
I'm honestly here to unite, brother. I really am. I think the government's trying to incite a civil war using religion, and we need to realize that and not let it fucking happen. You know what I'm saying?
That's a possibility. But
I really believe that.
yeah, thanks for coming and talking to me, Dane, and we'll talk more soon.
All right, peace, homie. You guys have a great one.
All right, later, man. All right. So, hold on one second. There we go. Did it do the thing? Why did it not do the thing I asked it to do? Doesn't matter. Um. All right. So that was a conversation that happened. Um. Today I was kind of having fun, or trying to anyway. Here we are, 3 hours in, and finally I have more than 6 viewers. Maybe Saturday afternoon isn't the best time for me to stream, but the I was kind of taking a look at ridiculous, absurd religions that exist in the United States, and kind of having a laugh about it, and saying, well, if I'm an atheist and I don't believe a God exists and all that, then let's look at all these other religions that make claims, and why I don't believe that they are religions either, or why they're not true, I guess. And I was just kind of having some fun with it, and we got through a few of them, and Dane showed up, and uh, you can see that conversation was an interesting one. I mean, Dane has unique views and stuff, and as long as Dane isn't hurting anybody, and his goal, he claims, is to not. I think I think some things that Dane says are a little troubling and problematic, but I also think that he's trying to understand, and trying to uh, be honest and all that stuff. So, I always want to, even if somebody does some things that are sometimes problematic, but you could talk to them through it, and they understand better, then that's what you should do. And I think that Dane and I have understood each other in a number of things, and that Dane really does want to be good to people, and doesn't mean any harm to anybody else. And like I said, I care about Dane, and I'm concerned about Dane sometimes. And so, anyway, though, thanks for coming and talking to me, Dane. Thanks for coming on, Dave. Robin attempted to come on. Pinworm attempted to come on. Um, thanks everybody that watched and stuff. And I will. I don't know. Shit, I may stream every day. I don't know. But I'll do something soon. I've got some stuff lined up that I want to do. Um, uh, the Once we hit the Ark Encounter protest, and I get that done, um, I'm going to overhaul the channel, and there will be some major changes to everything. Even the name of the channel, and everything is probably going to change. Or the alternate is that I may change my mind, and just decide to quit doing this completely by then. But it's not a thing out of anger or hate, or I'll still be here and around. Just doing it a little bit differently. The uh, and none of this, again, I've talked about this before. None of this is set in stone. I'm just like that. That's just I think I love talking to people about what they believe, and I love interacting with you guys, and I really, doing this has been a great experience for me, and I still want to be around and involved in all those things, but um, Derek's been replaced. Um, JL recommended that I change it to Kentucky Fried Atheist, and even sent me a example of a logo for it and stuff. And um, uh, uh, and I like JL's idea. And if I was, I thought about that when I first created the channel, but I thought it was kind of cliche, and I didn't want to really do it because everybody always says Kentucky Fried everything, and every time I talk to somebody who's not really interacted with someone from Kentucky, the first thing they say is, "Oh, Kentucky Fried Chicken," and I say, "Well, we don't eat that shit." And but so I'm not sure. I like it in a lot of ways because I think he's right. It would intrigue people to come look at my channel and drive traffic and stuff. Um, and uh, Only I think I would do the name Kentucky Fried Atheism instead of Atheist. And not make it about myself. But Kentucky Fried Humanist, yeah, yeah, that would work too. And fit the same idea. You just change the words on the bucket to KFH. Uh, but um, I don't know right now. There's a lot of stuff going on and things, and I don't know. Uh, I don't know what's going to happen in the future. So that's just. Thanks, PC, for posting that stuff. I need to. Let's just switch gears and move away from that. So yeah, I was locked up in Paintsville. Paintsville's 2 counties over from me. I was in the Johnson County Detention Center, which is in Paintsville. Um, that sounds like are boiling humans. Well, maybe we are. Um, we already eat babies, right? No, I don't. I don't know what I'm gonna do. If I continue, it'll be a channel that's not an atheist-based channel. Not within like it'll. I'll still incorporate all the same stuff into the things I talk about and what I do, but um, I just think that I need to. I think that I think that the way I do things is I think I'm talking to the wrong audience. Uh, um, and not the wrong audience. I'm only talking to a partial part of the audience. That's what I should say. That the thing like the Kentucky atheist turns a lot of people away because of including atheist in it, and a lot of the things that I get on here and talk about are not about uh, religion in any way. And definitely not about atheism. And my thing definitely isn't doing debates, and it's not setting and debunking things or response videos or any of that stuff. And for the most part, this community doesn't care for the political stuff that I do. It doesn't do well. And because of that, there is an audience for those things, but it's not here apparently. And but I don't know that I want to do political things either. Like I said, I may just quit doing this altogether. Um, Plus, on top of that, I want to get more involved with uh, actual doing. Well, I don't want to call it actual activism. I want to be involved with doing things and not sitting and talking. Uh, uh, and Because I'm not good at it. This is That's what it comes down to. I've made all these excuses. The truth of it is, I realize that I'm not very good at this, and so that's okay though, because we don't have to be good at everything. It's perfectly normal to have strengths in other areas, and maybe doing the other things it's not there either, and that's okay too. I'll figure it out. But um, the I feel like I'm on the right path, but um, doing it wrong. Uh, and again, I'll figure all that out. That's all stuff that'll come up later, and we'll figure it out. But for now, and I still like making videos and doing the stuff I do. So it may be the case that maybe I just go back to making recorded videos and stuff, and still interact like within chats and other ways. And I'm perfectly cool with still going on other people's channels and talking and um, whatever. But the I don't know. Here lately, I've just been burnout, and I've I think that things have. I don't even know how to explain it. I just feel like it's not going in the right direction. Um, and I don't. I think that the idea of uh, being, we talk about we're atheists and we agree on one thing, and that's true. Uh, but we don't agree on a number of other things, and that's fine. And I agree with. I don't know what I disagree with the people that I'm friends with. Honestly, I think we agree on a lot of those things, but I don't think. I don't think I'm reaching anybody outside of that. Uh, and that's the goal, right? Um, I love the community stuff and all that, but I don't need to do all this for that. Um, I don't need to do all this to be friends with everybody, right? Like we talk in a lot of different ways. So, but okay, so Ark Encounter stuff. Let's talk about that for a moment. Um, you have 8 days to book your hotel room. Um, I am going to be I am going to be renting a Airbnb for a couple of and I don't know how big it's going to be yet, but there are a couple people that are struggling with being able to cover some of the expenses and stuff. So I'm going to help out a couple people, and I've got one person that I've got to put up specifically, one of the speakers, and I think another one of the speakers will be staying there too. Um, and I'm not. I am going to go ahead and cover the complete cost of it. What I will say though is if anybody wants to kick in and stay there and help with that, I'm going to cook everybody a good Southern breakfast too the next morning. But if anybody wants to stay there and help, you could do it for cheaper than the price of the hotel room, and still, because I'm not going to charge you any more than what your part of it would be, right? Because I'm covering other people's parts of it. So I'm not going to charge you like it's just me and you paying for it. But if you want to, you can kick in and stay there and whatever. And you don't have to do it up front or anything. We can work it all out later and whatever. If you can help. I'm not telling anybody they have to. I'm just saying I'm specifically getting it to help people who need a place to stay, but also it's a cost outside of. Uh, so look, once we, depending on how big it is too, like if I just get it to cover those people that need the help with it and stuff, then it's, whatever. We've got the money to do it. That's not the issue. Um, it's just I want to make sure that we're taking care of people that need help. And so if you want to help take care of those people, you can. That's all I'm saying. And it's cheaper than a hotel room. And I imagine, and that way it gives a little more time to. You don't have to do anything now or any of that. I'll help you out. Like I'll help everybody I can. Right. Uh, Steph is coming now. I messaged Steph. I haven't talked to Steph in a long time. Uh, I miss Steph. We haven't talked in months. I haven't seen her in months. Um, of course, I haven't been around a whole lot either. So, and I know that she's been busy with a number of things. But I miss Stephanie. Stephanie is one of my favorite people. And but don't, Robin. We'll talk about it all later. Don't worry about that. You're helping me out, so you know. Um, it's not about the money thing. That's not it. It's so here's the deal. Like the cost of all the equipment, hotel rooms, especially the hotel rooms. That's why I went with the Airbnb, because the hotel rooms are like, when you're talking about, if I'm going to put somebody up for 3 days, that's $450. Like per person per room. So a group thing makes more sense. Is all. That's all I'm getting at. But yeah. And also, some of these people are speakers, and they've, I want them there to speak, and I like these people and care about these people. And so if we've got the funds to help, we're going to help, right? Like, I mean, that's what we do. But yeah. So anyway, all that'll work itself out. I'm not even concerned about that. We are at the point that, and we should be at this point where we've pretty much spent the money on covering the things we need to, or working on. We've allotted it for all the things we need to cover for the protest, and everything's cool. And uh, we and it's because of the donations and the help and stuff that we are able to provide places for those people. So yeah. And like PC said, if you're interested in group stuff, what I'm getting at is we're going to get a place for the people that need it. If we get a bigger place, that's where, like, if I'm going to get a place that'll hold 12 people, then that's more expensive than we can cover, right? That gets into the territory of, that's more money than what we've got left after we pay for everything else. So that's a better way to explain it, because I made it sound like you needed to reimburse me for funds that we have. That's not it. I'm saying if we make it bigger for people, and I'm fine with that. If we have 20 people, I'm fine with that. But we can't afford that whole thing. But it would still be cheaper than the cost of a hotel room on the people that stay there with us. That's the thing, right? And whatever it is, we're still going to pay for it up front and get it done. But some things have to happen after that too, because I have to pay. I have to pay people. The I so far, like there's the hotel rooms, and I've still got to rent generators and the U-Haul, but that's not a problem at all. I know I can do that whenever. I'm going to do it tomorrow or the next day, though, actually. But or, well, I have to wait till Monday. But uh, the hotel rooms, the people, we've spent some money on advertising on various platforms and stuff, promoting the ads and stuff, which did really good in some places. Like on TikTok, that ad got like 16,000 views. It's done really well. And also, I'm set up now with a better computer that's not actually mine, to stream to TikTok and stuff. So Anybody that watches that, I plan on doing a big stream over there here pretty soon. Robin. You have lawn darts? Bring them. Hell yeah, we'll get drunk and throw them bitches around. I'm joking. But, like I said, um, the well, at the Airbnb we have a big yard and possibly an in-ground pool and uh, some other amenities. The one I was looking at has a basketball court and in-ground pool and room for like 16 people and uh, all that. But that's the thing though, because with that it depends on who's gonna, and nobody has came forward and said that they want to do that. So uh, uh, other than Robin, so I guess I don't know. I don't know what to do. I think I think a number of people are just like planning on sleeping in cars or just renting a hotel room when they get here, and it'll be the Fourth of July weekend. I don't know how well that'll work, but I mean, I'm not even the Airbnb. I'm gonna cook breakfast and stuff, but I won't be there. I'm gonna sleep in the U-Haul out at the location. But I'm gonna take Sumami with me, and we're gonna go sleep in the U-Haul and smoke dope all night and party. I'm joking. But why do you keep just saying Steph? I don't know. Oh, because you misspelled it. I see. Um, but yeah. So anyway, um, everything's going good on that front, and we're working on. I can't make the announcement yet publicly. I talked about it a little bit behind the scenes, but I can't announce publicly until some things are situated on a really big speaker. And um, it wasn't an attempt to replace R and R. It's just it happened to be that our email finally got answered. The but yeah, everything's ready to go, and it looks like we're gonna have a great time. I don't look for Hoven to show up. Actually, I mean, they say they are, but I don't believe they really are. And if they do, that's cool. Whatever. I don't really care, honestly. Um, but the we've got a sound guy and so we've got speakers and stuff, but I'm also going to have a line into the sound because I'm going to record the audio separately. But we'll have speakers and stuff, and we're going to do it with the lapel mics instead of like a big microphone and stuff. But I don't know why anybody gives a shit about that. That's all stuff nobody cares about. Yeah, it looks like too that there are going to be. I'm going to do a live show, not on the day of the protest, but probably the day following it. I'm going to do a live show from there, and I want all of you to, everyone that's going to be there that wants to come say hi, and you know, just just come talk to me for 30 seconds, 2 minutes, whatever. And but I'm going to do that stuff, and I think Chris is trying to make a whole big plan of him doing a bunch of stuff on the side, and whatever. That's fine. He can do that. I don't care. Chris has been good about promoting things and whatever. And if people want to do that, they can do it. But I'm the Arc Encounter protest is in no way associated or involved with anything he's doing on the side. So I don't. That's not part of the plan. That's part of his plan. And again, we have a lot of creators and stuff, and if they want to get together with people and do something special, I don't. Oh, I see, Rob. Yeah, that's funny. If people want to get together and do something different on the side, then by all means, whatever, you're free to do whatever. You don't have to. You don't have to take part in the stuff that I'm organizing and putting on. That's up to you. and it doesn't really matter to me. Like it's gosh, that was a horrible stutter, wasn't it? Um, it's not necessary that you're free to do whatever you want, but we'll have some stuff going on. There will be. I'm not announcing everything yet because we're still kind of refining a lot of stuff, and but there will be things to do. There'll be a party, an after party after the protest. That'll be really really cool. Uh, for people who want to come to it, and I'm kind of limiting and inviting that to the people that I talk to. Like because obviously we can't invite 200 people to it, and I don't want to get over there and all that other stuff. So, um, like all the not all the speakers, most of the speakers will be there, and it's a big nice house. Jim Hilton's letting us have his house to have an after party in. It's right down the road from the Ark, so there'll be. Again, we can't have everybody, but not everybody watches my channel, so they don't know about it. Um, but it's getting close, and of course, I've been stressed out and all that stuff, and just trying to. I have no idea what the fuck I'm doing. I'm not a nonprofit organization. I'm not an event organizer. Well, I guess I am now. Um, I'm learning as I go, and luckily I've had the Tri-State Free Thinkers and Jess and Robin and Pangburn and a lot of people who have made this possible. And we're still looking at. Uh, there's a couple other groups a humanist group that wants to sponsor some stuff, and I don't really know what we need from them, so uh, you know, whatever. It might be fun to drunk troll Kent. I can promise you that I will be high as shit and dressed as Bam Bam. So go figure. Um, we're gonna have a good time. You guys are. We're gonna have a good time and stuff. I'll be around for the protest and some and the major events and stuff, but I'll probably be absent from the just hanging out and all that. Not all of it. I'll make sure that I'm there for some of it, but I've got things I have to do, like um, going and getting all this stuff and setting it up, and then tearing it all down and putting it back up, and renting vehicles and um, fixing problems and all that stuff. So I do look forward to getting to interact with all of you and meet you in person, and I think it's going to be awesome. And I hope to do more of this in the future. I've got a good idea for an event, and I've got a good idea for some other stuff, but nobody wants to fund it, and I can't afford it. So we're working on it. But uh, um, the problem is that within, like, to get people that I currently know to fund it and stuff, they want to use it to that they're funding it because eventually they end up turning a profit off of it. And that's not the reason they're funding it. I'm saying that eventually there is a return to it. Um, and some of the things I want to do doesn't have that instant return, and so uh, I want to. I have to work with some other activist groups and stuff that are interested in it purely for the activism, um, which I'm in contact with, and we're working on stuff. The um, and all that I said, I'm not saying it's a negative thing. It's just it's the way business works. It's not a bad thing. It's just how it works. Um, So yeah. But I will do before sometime this week. I will do a stream that is specifically about the Ark Encounter protest, and I will tag every person involved and everything that needs to see it. And there will be a final, like, here's the information, here's the itinerary, here's everything laid out. And what happened to my camera? Why am I up there? And Jesus Christ, what's going on here? You know what? I got a good fix to it. Here we go. But I will. And it'll be posted everywhere so everybody knows about it and whatever. And that'll be there'll be one more stream before the Ark Encounter actually gets here, where I'll focus on that and any little changes or whatever to things and stuff. But I will do a stream this week before the date ends on the hotel rooms, so that everybody understands that. And I am doing that. But yes, Robin, we're ending right now, and I will meet you in Discord. Thank you all for coming, and thanks for the ones that submitted super chats. We didn't quite get to our goal. I'll change it. I'll make it a little lower next time, and we'll try again. And if we reach the goal, I'll teach you how I made food in prison in a video. The Other than that, I don't know when I'm going to stream again, but I will, and I might stream tomorrow. I'm just going to stream when I want, regardless of what's going on, who's streaming, and all that stuff. Very few people show up to watch it anyway, so it's not like I'm interrupting anything for anybody else. So, I'll, yeah. And you can always watch it later, too. But thank you all for coming. I love you all. You guys are great, and thanks for supporting what I've done here. It means a lot to me.